All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Tuesday night. The first day of practice has kicked off, and on tonight's show, a special edition of KnicksFanTV Live presented by Manscaped, a tradition unlike any other. It is the annual Knicks season preview with special guest, the Knicks Fix, Hahn Solo, the Brentwood aristocrat. Alan Hahn returns to KnicksFanTV, and we got a lot to talk about. So salute to everybody in the chat. Lock in right now and hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's get it going. CP the franchise, Alan Hahn on the ones and twos. Back again, Alan. How you feeling, man?
I'm good. Salute to everybody out there as well. It has become a tradition. I'm enjoying it too. I'm looking forward to it each year. I'm always like, all right, when's it my turn? When am I on deck? And when you hit me up, I was like, all right, let's make this happen. So it's first day of practice. The optimism's still very high, but a very interesting season ahead for this team. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, especially after the offseason that they had. An interesting season ahead, no doubt. And I got to start it off. We got to rip the Band-Aid off and get right to the starting five, because today it was announced by Tom Thibodeau. You know what? Let me just get to the soundbite, because this one had Knicks Twitter in an uproar. So let's get right to it. Here's Thibs on the starting two-guard rotation.
Pressure on the rim. So that's what will force the defense to collapse.
Let me restart it.
Yeah, no, I think the thing is we need shooting. You know, the one thing that I know is that, you know, with Jalen, with RJ, with Julius, we have to put shooting around them, right? Mitch will give us pressure on the rim, so that's what will force the defense to collapse. And so Evans proven. I thought the second half of last year he played really well. So, you know, I think we have good depth at that position. We'll see how everything unfolds.
Does that mean that Evan is the front runner right now to start at that?
Yeah.
All right, so there it is. Thibs on the first day of camp says Evan Fournier is the front runner. And Solo, I got to get your opinion on this, because I've been telling the fans this for the longest. I thought that Fournier is going to be the incumbent. It's going to be his job to lose. We all like Grimes. I'm a Grimes guy. I'm a big-time Grimes guy. I do believe that he does deserve the shot to start at the two. I just feel like, you know, the zebra doesn't change his stripes that much. And I just think this was Thibs' go-to. And as he announces today, Fournier starting at the two. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be Thibs if he wasn't pissing off the fan base on day one of training camp, right? Why not get right into it and start off the relationship or pick up where it left off? A month ago, CP, I tweeted out something just randomly, just, you know, you just have these kind of thoughts, like thinking about what's coming. And that's exactly what I said. I said, you know, when you look at the roster right now, Quentin Grimes fits better at the two for the reasons that Thibs has said. You know, you need somebody that can knock down a three, a catch and shoot three guy. Now, is Quentin Grimes Evan Fournier when it comes to three-point shooting? No, he's not in that class, at least not yet. But what he does that I also think that starting lineup needs is he defends the perimeter. He can defend a point guard. He can defend a wing. He's versatile. He's got size and strength. It's all the things that you really do need. Now, he's not a playmaker like Evan Fournier. He's inexperienced. But Evan Fournier just, you know, I mean, he's not a guy that you're going to rely on defensively. Jalen Brunson, kind of small at the point guard position already. You know, he's going to need help. RJ Barrett talks about wanting to be a better defender, but there's not a lot of games where he is that guy. There are moments he is, but I mean, when you think about a defender, RJ, you don't think first, oh yeah, he shuts people down. So who's going to do it? Who's going to handle that job when it's a guard and he's a tough defender? That's something that I feel like in time has to work itself out. Now, Thibs' default position, aside from pissing off the fan base just because, his default position is also the vets. He relies on vets. He trusts vets. It's just what he does. So when you're a vet, and that was your job last year, it's your job this year until further notice. That's what I think happens here. I think he starts with it because it's not like you didn't, if Donovan Mitchell comes in here, it's a different story.
Yeah.
Right? Evan Fournier's probably not here anyway.
Right.
If you were to, bring in another player and Fournier's still here, if it's a vet, it's like an obvious one. Yeah, maybe then he comes off the bench. I think he fits a lot better with that bench group with the same idea, the shooting. But knowing Thibs all these years and knowing how he operates, he will always trend to the vet and let the vet give up the job. Let the vet make it obvious. Nah, you got to start, like it's not working. That's the way he's going to go. It's going to drive people crazy.
Yeah.
That's just how he operates.
It's understandable, that the people will be tight about it. But, look, he's arguably our best shooter on the team. Right? I mean,
he's one of the best shooters in the league.
One of the best shooters in the league. You're talking about 40% from three,
right.
7 attempts, high volume, set the Knicks record for threes in a season. Mm-hmm. There's no question that he has a role on this team. I also think an underrated aspect of his game is moving it without the ball. His ability to relocate into spots, in particularly the corner. He's operating off of Julius in the two-man game.
That's the key, too.
I think Brunson will benefit off of his drives. You need a guy like that has a savvy to move without the ball and, get into those open spots as a Brunson and an RJ get some dribble penetration into the paint. So, Fournier's veteran savvy is needed. There's no doubt about that. Provides a little bit of playmaking here and there. He did increase his assist percentage as the season progressed last year. But there's no doubt that Grimes' defense, as you said, is needed. And for that reason, I do think that while Fournier gets denied as a starter, I've been saying that I think Grimes is going to close. We saw that in certain spurts last season. Thibs was very high on Grimes prior to the injury. We did see a few games where he did close in big moments. One game that stuck out was a game in Cleveland. I think he's going to get that opportunity. And I had a chance to speak to Grimes during Summer League. He's working on his playmaking. He's working on getting some scoring inside of the arc, his pick and roll play. He's working on that. He was a point guard coming into college. Mm-hmm. So I think all those things he's working on, but I think he will get the closing nod because we need it. And we've lost positional versatility. We don't have that. You're bringing in a smaller guard as a Jalen Brunson. And I think Grimes is just a guy that, this team really does not have many guys that can force turnovers. Get us out in transition, and get us easier points. And I think that's where Grimes' strengths lies right now in his early career.
You brought up something that I think is going to be a bigger debate, and we won't be able to have it until the season starts. It's the finishing lineup. Yeah. Because you're right. The one thing that became a big story last year was that Evan did not play a lot in the fourth quarter, especially in crunch time, mainly because he couldn't guard anybody.
Right.
If the Knicks were chasing, he had to play because you needed somebody that could score, and he can. But you're protecting a lead, you can't have him out there. You can't have him out there. So what we remember, though, in that closing lineup, especially the fourth quarters, who led the team in minutes in the fourth quarter?
Who's that?
Manuel Quickly.
I was going to say Quick, yeah.
Now, where's he going to play? Because Jalen Brunson's got to close.
That's right.
I mean, he showed you on Dallas that he's a closer. He's not just a guy that can be in a closing lineup. This dude can close a game, too. I mean, it wasn't just Luka. Yeah. I mean, he was closing games in the playoffs. I covered the playoffs. I've covered them a lot. So the closing lineup is going to be a real interesting story because Quick was very good. If Derrick Rose is healthy, he's also part of that too, right? Because you could do a Brunson D Rose backcourt with RJ at the three. I mean, there's a lot of things there. So the closing lineup will be fun to watch. Will be to see how what group he trusts the most, right?
Right.
And the other reason why I can understand, and again, fans are going to like this, but you're not supposed to. All right, this is about strategy and coaching, and less about emotion. Because emotionally, I want to see Obi out there. Obviously emotionally, that's what you want. But reality is you're putting your best talented players on the court. And Julius Randle, love him or not, is probably still your most talented, physically talented player.
Said it yesterday.
And Evan Fournier is your physically best shooter. And one thing we also forgot about last season is that at the better times, because there weren't a lot of good times, but during the better times, Julius and Evan Fournier started to develop a chemistry that was similar to what Reggie Bullock and Julius had. It took a while, but they started to figure it out. As you said, the relocation, the idea of being in the sight lines, know where to find him and all that stuff, that was coming around. So I imagine Thibs probably sees that on film and says, let's keep some of the familiarity together while we're also trying to work in a new starter at the point guard position who likes the ball in his hand in Jalen Brunson. So, the complaints are going to come. The comments are going to come. I get it. I mean, This is nuclear, that relationship right now with the coach and the fan base.
good way to put it.
But it's, I also, without trying to be an apologist and all that other stuff, I get what Thibs is saying. But me personally, I want to get to that point in January where it's Jalen and Quentin and RJ.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to be, if Quentin Grimes does what I hope he does, and it's all up to him too, because we'll talk about Cam in a little bit, and I'm going to tell you what I feel about Cam.
Yeah.
But if you come into this camp and look at Evan Fournier, and in your head you say to yourself, I'm taking his job. That's what I want to see develop over time. Eventually, Thibs will just have no choice but to give it to him.
No question. Now, this was Fournier's response in regards to his defense and why he felt like it took a step back this season. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. This is Evan Fournier at the podium.
The team struggled and the starting lineup struggled. How do you view last season in terms of what you can learn from it and kind of correct with this team?
Well, I think, first of all, knowing what to expect is going to help me a lot. Last year, it took me a moment to really understand, okay, what's my role going to be with this team? How can I help the guys, and how can I be myself? And, I started the year very poorly defensively because I let my offense, really impact my defense. I thought to end the season it was much better, both sides of the court. And I think it's going to really help me just knowing the guys. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to compete as hard as I can. I'm going to be a good teammate, and yeah.
CP, he's a well-liked teammate in that locker room. Yeah. That's one thing that I can tell you. I can tell you that he is universally liked, appreciated, respected in that locker room. So that's a very important thing, because this is not a team with a lot of international players. So sometimes that happens. You get that clicks, whether the international guys hang out and the American guys hang out. But he's universally liked, so it starts there. He's right in a lot of those ways. But I also, there's also some realities. Teams attacked him.
Right.
Teams that put him in pick and roll, they attacked him. I mean, that just, there's a saying in football, offensive line, right? When you're on the defensive line, you find the fish. Who's the worst guy? And you all fight over who gets to go up against the fish. In basketball, it's the same thing. Where's the fish? All right, we're throwing him. We're attacking him defensively. We're going to make him so miserable that they're going to have to take him out of the game. Like, there are teams that will do that and will put you in bad situations. So, I do think that happened. But his game did get better as the year went on. His shooting certainly got better. Yeah. And now it's a matter of, I don't know if his defense is going to change. His game is so different now that you really can't be slow-footed. You can't be a guy that can't drop the foot and open up and, you get beat easy. You get into a switch, it's over.
Right.
And that's my concern. But we diminish his talent offensively and how important he could be offensively because, again, we want to fall in love with all these young players. But he is still a very talented player that is, going to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
And the playmaking aspect, you can't overlook that either. He can handle the basketball. He can make plays. And I think that's something that Thibs values, is to have extra people out there. So it's not just one guy you're relying on to be a playmaker.
You need it. And look, I think he has a point to a certain extent. Some guys can say that, sometimes their offense impacts their defense. You can look at Julius same way. When they don't have it going on one end, it impacts their intensity and enthusiasm on the other. Unfortunately, sometimes it's how it is. But as you said, sometimes he's just too slow. And you see the other team going at him. And I remember specifically, I was watching 2 games back-to-back. They were at home against Charlotte, and then I went to the game against Minnesota. And from Miles Bridges to Jared Vanderbilt, these guys were just blowing right past them. No resistance whatsoever. And, when you're going up against these athletic wings, sometimes it's just, you just don't have the tools. Sometimes you just don't have it. So, and to me, this is just, it is who he is right now. His strength is on the offensive side. We do need his shooting, as Thibs said. This team has been dreadful in effective field goal percentage. You look at RJ, you look at Julius, not overly efficient. You need some efficiency in there, somebody that can knock down a 3-point shot. So he and Grimes are both needed, but what about Cam? As you said, what about right. Cam? Go into your comments on Cam Reddish.
Yeah, here's my thoughts on Cam Reddish. I don't know the offseason that he had. All right, we always hear, everybody, we see the workout coaches, they post their videos, right, and they show us like guys in the gym, and it's they could be there for 3 days, but you could think, all season he's been doing it, right? You don't know. Yeah. All summer he's been doing it. You don't know. So we do fall in love with workout videos in the summer.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pretend I know anything, because what I need to know is what I see. And since, we can't watch, that's one thing I miss. I'll tell you what. One thing I loved about Mike Woodson is Woody was an open book. He would tell, and I did the show with him once a week, the Mike Woodson show. And so, Emmy nominated, by the way. And we just had such a great camaraderie that, he and his coaching staff, I got to know all of them so well that he would tell me, come watch practice. You sit off the side, they know I'm not going to tweet anything I see. They know I'm not going to try to do anything like that. But I like to observe because it helps me. It makes me a smarter analyst. And watching practice kind of gives you a good idea of, guys that are all kind of on the climb. You could just see it. And, you could just see the guys that are really putting in the work, the guys are going through the motions, that kind of stuff. I wish I could have that experience right now with Cam Reddish, because I want to see a guy who's playing for his meal.
Yeah.
Because he is, essentially.
He is.
This is it for him.
Yeah.
There's a contract waiting, and he could be Kevin Knox after this year and just get a one, you know what I mean? Get those 1 year minimums. You don't want to be in that place coming off your rookie deal. So what does he want to be? And if he put the time in this summer, and scouts I've talked to, I asked a lot of people about him because he's been an enigma since high school.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has all the tools, right? All of it. He's got the wingspan. He's got the height. He's got the athleticism. He could shoot. He's got the touch, feel for the game, all that. But he's missing the motor. Yeah. He's missing something that RJ Barrett was born with, which is a drive and just a thing.
Yes.
I'm going to outwork somebody. I'm going to outplay whatever it is. There's just certain players that have that fire in them. And there's other players that you're like, well, you better find it. And for Cam Reddish, I want to see if he comes to camp knowing the coach really doesn't want to play me. I don't really have a place on this team. If you really think about the lineup, I can give you 10 players before I get to him. So, and he's not going anywhere. The idea that he asked for a trade, that was a report, he shot down, and so did Leon Rose to me. Leon Rose told me, he did never ask for a trade. His agent never asked for a trade. Nobody asked for a trade. So with that in mind, okay, you're here then. What are you going to do? And so I want to see if there's a maturity about him that in this offseason, he shows up at camp and suddenly he's that guy that when you're watching practice, you're like, oh, okay, that's different. He has a little gear to him now, rather than that too cool for school, I don't have to try hard because I'm better than everybody in the gym kind of attitude that got him through high school and 1 year at Duke. But that's what I want to see. Because if he kind of is playing for his career right now, that desperation could push his way in where you don't have a choice. I got to play this guy.
Yeah.
And by the way, this team needs all the talent they can find.
No question.
He's untapped potential. And the question is not, and I know a lot of people blaming Thibs. It's not, take my word for it, please, everybody. I know a lot of you say, I don't believe you because you're a shill and all that stuff, whatever. Listen to my radio show. Trust me, I'm not a shill. I can tell you for sure, from talking to not Knicks people, but people around the league, that the biggest problem with Cam is the want to.
Yeah.
A consistent want to. And that's what turned, and you're playing for the worst coach if you have that. The worst coach. Because he would rather play the guy that will scratch and claw and fight for every inch in practice than the guy that has all the talent in the world. But no, I don't need to die for that. Or I don't need, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the difference. So I'm really curious to watch the minute we start seeing preseason games next week. When Cam gets some minutes, and even if it's a minute, I hope that kid plays his tail off because he literally is playing for his career right now.
No question about it. Let me just get record on this.
Recording in progress.
Look, I think you hit the nail on the head with Cam. He's fighting for his life right now. He just saw his boy RJ Barrett get a 4-year, $120 million contract extension. Yep. And if that's not motivation for you to really bust it out and try to, get a spot on this team, I don't know what else is going to do it for him, because you see all the skill sets, you see the potential, even in his limited time here in his first season.
Right before he got hurt, right before the shoulder
hurt.
Injury, he had probably one of his better games, and he was having a good game, and the shoulder got hurt. It's the worst time he could have had that injury, because he was finally playing, and he was actually producing. He was kind of showing you something. And it sounds like I'm being rough. I'm actually rooting for him.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to see potential wither away and turn into journeyman, veterans minimum for a couple of years. And then finally, where did he end up? He's playing where?
Yeah.
All right. Where, he playing in Greece now?
You're getting some Anthony Randolph comments in the chat right now. Some Kevin Knox comments in the chat.
Hey, I mean, that's kind of like, there's a lot of players like that. And unfortunately, like, Cam has got to realize that there's some desperation that needs to be in his game, and stop blaming everybody else.
Right.
And start looking at yourself and asking yourself, am I busting it? Am I giving it all I have? Or maybe I don't want it that much. So I'm rooting for him because I'd love to see it. And I actually think the team really could use it. They need some wing talent, and he certainly is one.
And when we talk about positional versatility, he's one of those guys. But if he can't shoot it as efficiently, I have a hard time putting him into that lineup with an RJ, with a Julius, with a Jalen Brunson. To me, if he is going to play, I'd see him on the second unit, where you can kind of feature him a little bit more, dump it down to him and say, hey, go to work. And then you could really see what he can do. But, and also, as you said, we need to find a diamond in the rough. Based on where this team is going to be drafting in the foreseeable future, sure, maybe there's a circumstance they can trade up, or maybe they do go out for a grand slam. Who knows, right? I don't even want to get to that right now.
Don't even pay attention to the draft. Trust me. The draft is not on anybody's mind in this franchise. They have too many picks to think about using them to draft people. Yeah.
So I say that to say, they got to try to find a diamond in the rough somewhere. And it was just very peculiar to me to hear, the Atlanta regime highly tout this guy. This is the next Paul George that you guys are getting. But it's like, so why didn't you keep him?
Because they knew. Right. There was no.
There was no rush to re-sign him on the Hawks.
Right. Because they knew what they were dealing with, which is a guy that. There's some players you say he's allergic to work. I don't know if it's that, or is he just not inspired? I don't know. See, there's a lot of questions about it. Does he play basketball because he can play basketball, or does he play basketball because he loves to play? Like Emmanuel Quickly, if you could marry basketball, Emmanuel Quickly would be married to the game. Like he loves the game. RJ Barrett, same way. Yeah. Obi Toppin, these guys love to play. Like, you've got to kick them out of the gym.
Yeah,
that's just what they're about. And then there's other players. Dennis Smith Jr. is another great example.
Yep.
So much physical talent, right? But in his heart of hearts, he'd rather be doing other things.
Yeah.
He just knows, well, I can make money playing basketball, and I like to play. And when he can play and do the things he wants to do physically, it's fun. But when I got to do all this other stuff, it's not so much fun. I don't know if I want to do all that. That's a reality. And, it's not hate.
Yeah.
There's just some people that, it's just not what they love to do. All sports. NFL, you've got guys in the NFL that are there just because I'm 300 pounds, I can move human beings, and they're going to give me money to do that.
Yeah.
But do I want to live in the film room? Do I care that much? I don't. It's the same thing in the NBA. There's a lot of guys like that. I don't want to think that Cam Reddish is like that, but he's got to prove me. He's got to prove to me he's not, because there's a lot of guys in the league that come through that are just like that. And it's disappointing. They have all the physical tools and just don't have the want to. He's got to have the want to.
KnicksFanTV Live, presented by Manscaped. CP Allen Hahn on the ones and twos. The tradition unlike any other. The Knicks 2022-2023 season preview show. I'm also on Aaron Judge Watch Solo. It is the top of the 8th. Full count. He's up again.
All right.
Yanks in Toronto. Here comes the pitch. 5-2 Yankees right now.
You gonna walk him again?
Probably. Here it is. The delivery. And he swings at something outside. On the
he's getting jumpy now.
Yeah, definitely.
Too bad.
But on the flip side to the Reddish thing, right?
Yeah.
And I thought you did a great job with the Leon Rose interview. I thought you asked all the questions that the fans wanted answered.
Can I explain it just
Yeah,
so
go
everybody
ahead.
knows
Yeah, sure,
too? Because there's all
absolutely.
you always, and I'm too old now to care about comments and stuff. Like honestly, I used to like read them and wonder
Yeah.
what people then get mad like how dare you say. But I just want to explain. I wasn't given a script. Honestly, like it was no script.
Yeah.
There was no like here. These are the questions you ask. Like I legit was told come up with questions you think would want to be asked. That was it. You know, what do you think needs to be asked? What are the important questions to ask him? And I had almost like 20 questions. And it was like, all right, ask him. That was it. Like it was simply that. It was, you know, come up with some questions and ask them. And we had no idea how long the show was going to be. It could have been 10 minutes. It could have been 20, whatever it was. It ended up we did it, and it's God's honest truth. We did it in one take. One take. It was introduce, cameras on, and away we went. And we didn't stop until it was over. The commercial breaks you saw, they had to cut them up for the commercials. We didn't stop.
Yeah.
So he just sat there, just taking them one, like it was just rapid fire. Boom, boom, boom. The minute he said something, I followed up. It was just that's the way that went. So a lot of people wish, well, how come the whole media couldn't ask? Well, I understand that, but that's above my pay grade.
Right.
But as far as my role, I asked the questions I wanted to ask. And that's the reality. And we got some answers. And of course, every GM in the league is going to certain questions, just not answer them or talk around them. And that's a reality of that. So I just wanted to get that off my chest.
Yeah, it was understandable. Like I said, the questions were on point. How he answered them, like I said, you could expect some, canned answers, and maybe you get some out of others. But there was one that really struck me because I think for some reason I just feel like there's a bit of a disconnect here between, what this team should be doing and maybe what the front office wants and the coach, and that is Thibs having carte blanche with the lineup.
Yeah.
Because as you said earlier in this show, he has the proclivity to play vets. And now we're talking about a guy in Cam Reddish that they traded a pick for.
Yes.
They have a short time. The sands in the hourglass are running out on his contract. They have a short window to see what he can do. I mean, is this something that the Toronto Raptors would do? Is this something that a Masai Ujiri would do? Trade a pick for somebody and not have a plan to get them involved? All right.
I'm glad you said that. Do you think Masai Ujiri would tell Nick Nurse who to play? You think, how about this? You think Nick Nurse would let Masai Ujiri tell him who I'm going to play? There's not a chance in the world.
Yeah.
But that's just not how it works in the NBA. When that happens, you have problems. You either have a weak coach, that can happen too. I have a young, weak coach. I can run his show. I'll tell him what to do from upstairs, right? Phil Jackson, Derek Fisher.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why, and they're all, D Fish finally reached the point where he's like, nobody wants to play the triangle. I'm not playing the triangle anymore. And once he disconnected, he got fired. Right? So that when you have that relationship where a front office is telling, now there's a collaborative that happens where, we're all talking and it's like, all right, if things aren't going well, we want to massage the lineup a little bit. It's like, all right, well, our scouts are watching us. We self-scout. And, we're thinking maybe we need this. How about we give this a chance? There's always conversations.
Yeah.
But as Leon told me, there's no edict. There's no minutes edict. And Thibs is in charge of the lineup. They're never going to tell him what to do. The guy's been a 2-time coach of the year. You have to trust your coach. And when you say, well, I traded for this guy and you buried him, his response, he can't say it publicly. But I can tell you again from talking to scouts, the real feeling is if Cam showed up and is like watching film and staying early or coming early and staying late, putting in the work, and Thibs pays attention to all that because no one's at the gym before him and no one leaves after, you know what I mean? Like he's the first one and last one out, legit. Like he lives there. He sleeps on the couch. This is what he does. He has no family. He lives and breathes it. So he knows who's putting the work in. He knows who's coming in at night to get shots up. He's aware of all of it. And if we just acquired you and you're a young player and you're not doing any of that, Why am I giving you an opportunity? Why do you deserve it? Why should I sit Obi Toppin or someone else just because we traded for you? No, you got to come in here, show me that you're bought in, that you'll do all the studying in the film to understand our systems and how we want to do things. And then when I give you a chance to play, you also now have to hit the floor and play hard. And then I can see, all right, I need more of this, I need more of that. And it took a while for Cam to figure that out last season. I'll leave it at that.
For me, it just comes down to overall asset management. And it's not to say they need to tell Thibs what to do, but is there a plan between front office and coach to say, this is how we want to develop these players. This is how we want to evaluate these players, right? Because I look at Cam, I look at the Obi situation same way. You know, what are they going to do when Obi's contract comes up and they're looking at a kid who's playing 15 minutes a night, number 8 pick in the draft, a first-round pick? To me, you're not maximizing the value of your assets, whether it relates to winning games or getting you the Donovan Mitchells of the world, because you just don't know what you have. And you go back draft before that, yes, they didn't draft Knox, but it was a waste. They didn't draft Frank, but it was a waste. And when you look at how this team is constructed going into the future, their assets, their first-round picks have not netted them anything yet.
Yet, right, yet. That's the important part. It almost did. It almost did. I mean, that trade was on the 2-yard line. You know, Donovan thought he was coming home.
Yeah.
You know, like that trade was very close to being done. And for a million different reasons, it wasn't. And you're right. When you draft Obi Toppin with Julius Randle on the team, and no one knew that Julius Randle was going to have an all-star season.
Right. Oh, that's true.
You draft Obi with the idea that, you know, if Julius just, you know, continues to kind of like that year that he had, I mean, what are you going to do other than give him an extension and keep him?
Yeah.
But now, okay, well, now I got a guy that can play a 4 and I got a guy that can play a 4 and they both need minutes. How do you solve that problem? It's very difficult to do. And everybody says, well, play them together. That's a disaster. You can't play them together. You know, minimally, a couple of minutes here and there, you could try to get away with it in a game. But Obi Toppin can't be a starter. I'll repeat. Obi Toppin cannot be a starter if Julius Randle is on the roster.
That's right.
You could, as a fan who doesn't have a paycheck and doesn't answer to anybody, you could say, Randle should come off the bench. That's great. But I promise you will be fired. I promise you that you'll be laughed at around the league if you did that.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
There's no way.
It's just not a reality thing. Fantasy world, yes, sure. Fantasy world, do it on 2K all you want. Sit Randle, start Obi, go for it.
Yeah.
But in real life, you can't do that. It's just reality. So that's why it's not an easy situation. And they're going to have to navigate it again this year, especially because, you know, for Randle, it's a huge year for Randle. And Obi at the end of last season kind of gave you a taste of, boy, on an up-tempo team, he can get buckets, like easy buckets. And what's one thing that you need as a franchise, especially in today's NBA? Easy buckets.
Easy buckets,
You
man.
talked about it before. It's a great point you made about effective field goal percentage and why the Knicks last year were such a bad team shooting-wise. They were not a bad three-point shooting team. They were middle of the road.
Yeah.
They were a horrific rim finishing team. And the only thing that kept them respectable was Mitchell Robinson.
Mitch, yeah.
And even Mitch, for his standard, was poor at the rim last year.
Right.
For his standard. He still was ridiculous. But for his standard, not great. Julius didn't finish well at the rim. RJ didn't finish well at the rim.
Not at all.
You had those issues. So will those issues stay this year, or will Julius be a better, because he was 2 years ago very good at the rim. Will he be a better finisher at the rim like he was 2 years ago? Will RJ be able to finish more on his drives and around the rim and stuff like that? Because that could also have a major impact, you know, on their effective field goal percentage. But it's a big year for Randle because of what happened last year, and that his 20-10-5 sounds great.
Right.
But as I asked Leon, how do you get those numbers, which he'll put up every year, to impact team success? And Leon said they have to talk to him about it. And Julius said yesterday that he understands there's some sacrifice that needs to be made. That's important for him to say.
Yeah, self-awareness was key.
Huge. You got your contract. Nobody's going to judge you if you're averaging 18 a game. Nobody's going to say, oh, he sucks now. No, because if your team's winning, nobody's going to say a word about you.
Yeah.
So you can't focus so much on, I got to get my 20, I got to get my 10, I got to get my 5. Focus on, I got to make the right play. I got to hustle. I got to make the right play. I got to stay locked in. I got to stay focused. That's the kind of stuff that you need out of him. Because if that doesn't happen this year, what happened last year will get even worse this year when it comes to fan reaction and reception at home. Because Obi remains, as he should be, he's one of the most likable Knicks we've had in a long time.
No question.
He and Quickly are two of the most likable players you could have, and they love the game and all that stuff. They will be calling for him more and more if Julius does not perform the way you expect him to perform this year. And it's going to reach a point where the franchise might be at that crossroads of, we might need to make a move here just because it's getting ugly. So it's a huge year for him.
No question. And I didn't see the sell low change of scenery trade happening just yet, but this could be that time. This could be that time.
Yeah.
Because I said this last year, especially when he was out and Obi was really, coming into form. I said that next year, if he doesn't get right between the ears at the slightest mistake or the next meltdown, he's gonna hear it, man. And the crowd is gonna be, we want Obi, we want Obi.
He's gonna hear it right. He's gonna hear it in the opener. Like, he'll hear it against Detroit.
Yeah.
And it's not. Maybe it's not fair. Whatever it is, it's fine. I loved what he said. He talked about how he had to get away, clear his mind, reset, recharge, all that stuff. He had a lot of smiles on his face yesterday. Jovial. I thought it was kind of coincidental that when D Rose was talking about accountability and how if somebody criticizes you, don't take it so personal. Julius walked in at that moment like it was almost perfect.
Yeah.
But I loved seeing him just smile and seem a lot lighter than he was he was in such a bad place last year.
Yeah.
So let's see how long that lasts because, he is very moody. But you got to know, it's just a reality. You got to know that if that guy that shrugs his shoulders, the guy that doesn't run back on defense after a bad play, the guy that's constantly making faces, the guy that can't finish at the rim, boy, if that guy returns this year, the Garden crowd, I don't think will give him a minute.
No.
Like it'll be like instant.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no, that's not the guy we want to see. Boo, get him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that'll be instant. Short. He's going to have like the shortest, not fuse. What am I thinking of? You know what I mean? Like there's going to be no patience.
No patience
for him. Yeah. And whether it's fair or not, it's just a reality. It's kind of what he got himself into from last year. And the fact that Obi's here.
Yeah.
And so likable, you want to see him play.
As our guy, the rhyme animal Chuck D in the chat would say, the heaviest jersey to wear in the league, Microwave Square Garden. And shout out to our guy, Chuck D, man, the legend. Everybody throw a hashtag PE in the chat. He throws his $50 super chat into the Mosh chat, as he calls it. He says the yearly Hahn Solo CP KFTV preseason rendezvous is our NBA Finals for the fans in reverse. Let's go.
By the way, you see the print behind me? Can you see it?
Yep. Hang on. Let me get full screen on you for the people at home.
That's Chuck. I don't know if all of it is in there. But I can't move the camera.
Yeah.
That's Chuck's original work because he does watercolors. Yep. He does all kinds. He's an amazing artist. And it's Madison Square Garden. I wish I could. Let me see if I can.
Yeah. I got a couple here myself.
Let's see if you can see it. Yep. Yeah, there it is.
Classic.
That's the original garden. And he made that. And he sent it to me. And right away, I just put it up. It's the perfect place for it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things that I have in this office. So he's the best.
Beast on the mic, a beast on the pen. And I have one of his designs that we have for the fans. I've been meaning to get that out for the people. So for you people at home, stay tuned. We got to get that one out. I got a couple of fire joints from Chuck here in the studio, and I have some for the fans as well. So definitely shout out to the rhyme animal Chuck D for his relentless, tireless support of KnicksFanTV and the Knicks Fix for all these years, man. Mm-hmm. One of the best people around.
Yes.
No question about it. On the Julius and Obi topic, I did go through Julius's press conference yesterday, and look, it looks like he's in good spirits. There's one thing about him: we know that he puts in the work in the offseason. Always comes in a pretty good shape. Never been a question. So for me, it's going to be between the ears, and then with the addition of Brunson, can he find some efficiency? One of the things when we talk about the self-awareness thing is he talked about the guards, namely a Brunson and even a Rose, helping him be better in pick and roll situations, off ball cutting, those things, taking the ball out of his hands, because we've seen it so many times that when he does have it, it's not always a great result. Sometimes it's a turnover or a bad play. He's holding on to the ball for too long. I've been waiting all this time that he's here. This is his fourth or fifth year. Fourth year. I've been waiting all this time to see, is there a point guard that can make him better, that can help him? I thought Kemba could help a little bit last year. He's not good. He wasn't good. He's not healthy. Can it be Brunson? And how will Julius react to having to sacrifice, dial it back a little bit as Brunson and RJ dominate a little bit? Can he play off of them, stay engaged on both ends of the floor?
That's the difference between this team being a lock for at least a 7-10.
Big time.
Versus an 11th team. That I'm telling you, and people don't want to hear it, but that's a reality too. The East is deep.
Yeah.
It is tough. And there's 6 teams that have better rosters. 6. All right, that have better rosters. And you could argue there might be 8. It could be 9 that have better rosters. Injuries are going to play a factor. They always do.
How about Chicago, Alonzo Ball, man?
That's a big loss for them, man.
Big
no, that's a huge.
Big.
They were under 500 without him last year. That's a big loss. And then will he ever be right? Because the Bridman and at least the other thing, is he going to be right? So that's You watch that. What's going on in Boston? Who knows how that's going to affect them?
Right.
Obviously no Gallo, Robert Williams being out. What kind of impact will that have? And then of course their head coach. So you look around and there's always something that you could see and think, all right, well, we didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just looking at it in the vacuum of everybody on paper and this season. And I think you're right. How does Randle adjust to letting another player dominate the basketball, playing off that player, and having the feel for the game to be able to move without the ball? Because a lot of things that he did offensively was through him.
Right.
And so for him, the decisions were where to go with it, not where I should go to play off the ball.
Right.
So that's an adjustment, and he might not be able to do that. We'll learn that pretty quickly.
Right.
Because that could, you can clog up. Plays call. We saw this happen a couple of times. Plays called, and all of a sudden he blows the play up by just jumping into the mid post, putting his arm up. I was like, that cannot possibly be the play.
Yeah.
So that, things like that can't happen, because I actually think he's better than average as a catch and shoot 3 guy. He's just not a good dribble 3 guy.
Right.
Catch and shoot, I think he can be. So as a spacer, he's actually better than you think. I also think he could be, if he wanted to, a dominating offensive rebounder. Not a good. He could be a dominant offensive rebounder if he wanted to.
Right.
If he changes focus from getting the ball to let them do what they're going to do, and I'm going to go get the basketball,
clean up.
Because 60% of the time, at the very least, you're going to miss. Again, it's all how it comes together and what mindsets and all that other stuff that they have and how they want to play. All they've talked about, CP, is playing fast.
Yeah.
Julius talked about it. They want to play fast. I heard that last year, and that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
You know what I mean?
All
the next thing you know, they're walking it up.
Yeah.
There's Julius walking it up. And, if we're going to play fast, let's play fast. Don't talk about it. Be about it. So that's the other part I'm really curious about. But I can't overstate it. The big stories to me going into this season is obviously Brunson and his impact with playing without Luka, and can he be that kind of winning element personality that can fill a hole that has been there for a decade, if not more, at point guard. But I also think it's, will the real Julius Randle please stand up?
Yeah.
because this year will tell us if 2 years ago was a fluke or last year was a fluke. Which one is it?
No question about it. And as we hit the reset, salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and Hahn Solo on the ones and twos. The annual season preview show, man. The one that the fans always look forward to. And look, man, we're happy to have you guys. If you guys are new in the chat, drop a hashtag new in the chat. We'll shout you guys out. Yes, we will be taking phone calls as well as we get through the program. So don't worry about it. We'll definitely take your phone calls. And remember, fellas, this show is presented by Manscaped, the number one men's grooming tool below the waist, the number one men's grooming tool for over 2 million satisfied customers, man. Go out there and go get that Lawnmower 4.0, fellas. It'll change your life. It's got the skin-safe technology, very aerodynamic. It's got the LED spotlight. If you want to do it in the dark, whatever you're into, I don't got to know about it, but you do your thing. Great battery life, waterproof as well. You guys know the deal, man. And hey, no testimonials, fellas. No testimonials. As I said, it's getting a little bit nippier out here in New York. We're going from summer to fall. We're changing the seasons up. We're moving from Jordan back to Van Gundy. Solo, you know what I mean? I don't got to explain it to the people. You know what I mean. Manscaped.com, promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping.
That's an amazing promo.
Yeah, it's
funny. I was going to, I know you didn't want testimonials. I was going to tell you that I am one of the 2 million customers, though. After the last time I said, I got to check this out. I got to get this thing. And it's life changing.
Yeah. No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. They take care of us. And, we're thankful for the partnership. So shout out to our people there at Manscaped. Let me shout out some of the new people. Shout out to Dennis Cruz in the chat. Salute to Dennis Cruz. We have, who else? We got a lot of the mods. Shout out to TM. Shout out to DeMario Montag checking in. So salute to DeMario. Nightmare Freddie Green. We have Cameo. We have Michael Bolt in the chat. Alan, you have the chat open? Anybody want to shout out in the chat if you have it open?
I didn't know I could see the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Where would I see the chat?
You have YouTube open?
Oh, I don't. No, I just have us.
Okay.
I just have us on the screen.
Oh, on the Zoom. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No problem. I'll keep shouting the people.
I didn't know I was able to do that. I probably would have set that up even better.
Yeah, it's the people show, man. No worries though.
I like it. Yeah, I wish I could see the chat. Maybe I don't want to see it because you never know.
Hey, it's all love in the chat.
There's always one of those people. You know how it is. There's always one guy.
The corporate shill, Alan Hahn. You throw softball questions to we out.
Exactly. It's all that.
Shout out to Jonathan Guilford in the chat. Salute. Okay, Jalen Brunson. Brunson's press conference, he came in right away. He said, whoa, I'm not the savior here. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy trying to play point guard for, the heaviest jersey in the league. How do you like the addition, and what do you think he's going to bring to the team?
See, I love so much about him. And again, this isn't like, you're just saying that, again, like people who say you work for the team is kind of funny because I actually don't, but whatever. I really like the addition. Yeah. And I was fortunate enough with ESPN to cover the Western Conference in the playoffs. And I covered the Western Conference finals every single game. Like I did every game. And I got to see it firsthand. I mean, in the moment, he's a killer. You forget in the first round when Luka was hurt, Jalen was killing the Jazz, like working them. Is he an elite superstar, Ja Morant? Like, no. I mean, obviously, he's not that. But I think Fred VanVleet has shown us, and other players around the league have shown us, you don't have to be that. You can be smart, which Jalen is. You can be tough, which Jalen is. You can also just have that winning DNA, which Jalen does. Right. If you go back to college, Jay Wright, Villanova, championships, got 2 rings. Like there's just certain things that guys are just winners. And he brings that. But I think the understated thing about him, because he's actually a nice guy when you talk to him and interview him and everything. And again, like you put him, Monica McNutt standing next to him, and people are like, damn, Monica, you could check him. Like she's wearing heels, but I'll never see that. Yeah. But still, it's like he doesn't look like this, big guard who, is just physically dominant. But you don't want to mess with him Like, he's not soft.
Yeah.
And if there's something that this team needs more of, it's that element. It's no, not here, not now. Like, oh, okay, oh, you're getting up in me now, are you? I'm gonna take you. Oh, I'll back you down and take you into the paint. Like, he can. I watched him score at will in the paint.
Yeah,
at will against a Warriors team that was one of the best defensive teams in the league. Got into the paint whenever he wanted. That stuff's important to point out. So you have a guy that can have that kind of impact on the court where he can score. He can get you 40, and there are some games where maybe he'll only give you 12, but he can get you, 8 or 9, 10 assists. Or he's just, I don't have to today because somebody else is getting it done. But what I like about him is he's also somebody, though, that when things aren't going well, I don't see him turning it off or shutting it down. I don't see him giving me that kind of, I'm in the league, I'm a vet kind of guy where I'll just, I'll put it in cruise control here. That's not what he's about. And that's what I think is very important to have around. RJ Barrett said something, and I caught my attention. He said that he's got that winning background, winning, what do you call it? A winning DNA?
I think so. There's something like that.
Yeah. And he said, it's great to have another guy with that around here. What would that suggest to you when somebody said that? It's good to have another guy like that. Well, he's saying, like, I know I'm built like that.
Right. I don't
it's
know.
Nice to have somebody else that's built like that around here.
Right.
Because that would suggest we don't have a lot of that.
Yeah. No offense, Julius, but
No, but hey, like, it's just without saying it.
Right.
Look at the starting lineup. Mitchell Robinson has barely played basketball in his life. Barely played in high school. Didn't play in college, and he's kind of learning all this way. He doesn't really have any true winning pedigree. He can't possibly. Right? So you can't expect him to. Julius Randle, what kind of winning has he done in his career? Think about it. Look at his career. What kind of winning has he done?
Yeah.
Really not a lot. Evan Fournier, actually, with France, they do a ton of winning.
Yeah.
They don't ever win gold.
Right.
but they still get there.
Yeah.
But, so he's got, but I like Evan for that because Evan is a very competitive guy in late games, like you saw it. But there's just not a lot of people on the roster that have done something. Brunson has won in college, won championship. Yeah. This is a guy that went to the Western Conference Finals last year. It was all Luka. That wasn't all Luka, man.
No.
That wasn't all Luka.
No, Brunson went in.
Yeah. So having that element to me is I think very important. And the fact that he knows Thibs since he's a baby, and he knows that Thibs is going to kick his ass. He's going to be in his ass.
Yeah.
He's going to be on his case. And Jalen is like, yeah, I already know what's coming. right? Like, I'm good.
Like, to expect.
That's important too, because not everybody can handle that.
Yeah.
That's important too. So when you ask me how do I feel about it, that's how I feel about it. I feel like RJ does. It's good to have a guy with some stuff about him on this team. And, Elfrid Payton had some toughness, but he couldn't do a damn thing with the basketball. Yeah. Jalen can do things with the basketball, and he's tough. That's important.
Super important. I think it's critical, those intangibles that you just named, especially playing here, man. We've seen these guys just fold under the bright lights. But as you said, it's one thing to be tough, but also to have some skills. And the first thing that's going to jump out is his efficiency inside the paint. I mean, for a small guy, the way that he uses his body, his footwork, very physical. I got to see him up close, not at the NBA level, but when I went up to the Pro-Am game at Hostos Community College in the Bronx, really watched him. That was a little bit of a disaster. Yeah, wasn't a good,
I talked to him about that.
Yeah,
I talked to him about that. I said, did you know walking up that court, like, man, we're going to hear about this now for the next month. He said he really didn't think about it, but he goes, for us, it was cardio. Yeah. Like his way of explaining it to me, because I was like, wasn't there a party that's like, man, we can't lose these scrubs? It's like, it was cardio. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, not for the fans. Not for the fans, man.
The fans don't want to hear that.
Not at all.
You keep it score, you better win.
Oh, we were big time keep it score. Just his ability to play at the highest levels, man. He talked about Villanova. I always like Villanova players coming off of that Western Conference. He took his team to the Western Conference Finals. that Mavericks team. I mean, they started the year off slow, came on strong, and he was a big reason for that.
Huge part of that.
Definitely looking forward to that. And as you said, he's not the savior, but I just look at him as stability. Stability at that position that they have not had since Felton. How long has it been since
Ray and J Kidd like that, and that was such a short-lived thing.
Right.
I like the fact that he and RJ to me feel like sort of like the pilings, the pilings in a foundation. Like that's what they feel like because they're both relatively young. They're both very tough. They both can be coached, which you have a coach who's a tough coach. That's so critical. You have two pieces like that you can rely on. That they're not going to wilt, they're not going to fade, they're not going to get in their feelings. Like in this city, with this franchise, in that building, with that coach,
you need it.
Critical to have those two pieces, and that's important. Still pieces to fill in there,
sure,
but those are pilings. I think those are very important as part of the foundation.
No question about it. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what that 1-5 pick and roll is going to look like with Mitch, man. When you look at Brunson's ability inside, the vertical spacing of Mitch, we'll see, what type of spacing they'll have out there with an RJ Julius and, Fournier Grimes.
But you're going to have to pack it in against the Knicks,
You're going to have to.
I mean, you're going to see zone. You're going to see a lot of that stuff. You're going to see a lot of packing in and all that. And it's just a reality. Now, look at the way the Mavericks were built. Because Luka's not a great three-point shooter, but you had to guard him, right? You had to guard him on the perimeter because he was so herky-jerky. But they would use, like they had a couple of guys that were stretch fours and whatnot. They had a lot of interchangeable pieces. Yeah, exactly, Maxey. And then, what was his name? Was it Powell?
Dwight Powell.
Right, rim runner that they would just throw lobs to. Very similar kind of offense, I think. Very similar. The one thing they didn't have was a third. Like they had two guys that could score. Bullock just ran around, being in the sightlines.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what Evan's going to do. But if RJ and Jalen can kind of do the same things of just putting so much pressure on you in the perimeter because I'm just going to keep diving, we're just going to keep attacking and pull you back. That's where I think Randle, if he's patient, he can cook because when everybody's diving in, just slip out on the wing.
Yeah.
You don't even go at the 3-point line. Just slide out on the wing a little bit, catch it. Now you got a one-on-one and go. Don't waste any time. Just go. So I'm curious to see how this offense comes together. And they don't have a lot of time, to get it figured out. That's for sure.
Yeah, first preseason game, October 4th. So to everybody in the chat once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's get those likes up. CP and Alan Hahn on the ones and twos, the annual season preview show. We have 2,400 people in the chat. Salute to you guys wherever you guys are watching us from. And throw your cities, throw your country, your flags in the chat. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from, and we'll shout you guys out. We'll also take some calls in a bit. And definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. One of the super chats that came in, let me scroll up and get this guy's super chat really quick. I think I missed it. Chat's going kind of fast, but he was asking, how do you rank the trio of Brunson, Rose, and Quickly? How do you rank that trio? Brunson, Rose, and Quickly, that guard trio.
Ranking in what way? It's just,
I
rank
guess,
to me sounds like compare him to others, and it's impossible really to go through it like that.
This is rare edition. He says, Alan CP, where would you rank our trio of guards, Brunson, Rose, and IQ? I feel good about them, especially if Rose is healthy. I feel like they can be valuable for the postseason.
Yeah, and health is going to be the biggest issue. It was great to see D Rose talk about being at his rookie playing weight, 195. Him saying he feels 100% is a big deal because he doesn't often do that. That's important. They really missed him last year.
Yeah, they did.
Really missed
big
him.
Time.
And I think having him in the lineup regularly will be important, but not having to lean on him so much, which they had to do a lot 2 years ago, of course, and then even last year or right before things went. He just broke down last year. I think he's such a value. Quickly's a better player when they're on the floor together, I think. And I do think there's scenarios that you could play Brunson and D Rose together. I think that's funny. There's so many interchangeable parts in the backcourt now because, you don't have a guy that you're like, he's not a scorer. You don't have somebody that's a non-scorer that could, impact it, where a team can say, we don't have to guard that guy. You got guys that can pressure a defense. Quickly, he'll push it. He'll put pressure on you that way. Brunson will, drive in and put pressure on your defense and your bigs. And Derrick Rose is still a very difficult guard to defend, not just going to the rim, but on his pull-ups. He's gotten lethal with those.
Yeah.
His teardrop, his pull-ups, and he's become a much better three-point shooter. So, that's a position where they finally have depth, which is excellent. And all you can hope for is that, they stay healthy enough that you can, get through a season and get into the playoffs, having them all available to you. I think that's such a big thing. So, yeah, the depth is good. I think they have a really good guard rotation. I mean, where does it rank? I mean, Atlanta's got a really good duo there.
Yeah.
Philly's got a really, Maxey and Harden are very good.
Mm-hmm.
Boston and Marcus and Jalen. They're, like I said, the East is very deep.
Yeah.
It's very deep. But this is as good as the Knicks have had a guard rotation in quite a while. I'll say that. Where does it rank for the Knicks in their last 10 years? It's up there. It's one of the best they've had guard-wise in a long time.
Probably since Felton, Kid, and Pablo. Different dynamic, especially when you consider the age.
Older
right?
group.
But still the effectiveness. And, I can't wait to see D Rose, man. As he said, he's coming in at rookie weight. Health is always a key factor for him. But especially when you get to those big games, you get to the playoffs, shot creation. You need it, and you need more of it. And he's that guy who I said it last night. He's still that guy who, ranks maybe first or second on that team where you say, dump it down to him, go get us a bucket, and you feel good about it. You know.
In the moment when you need a bucket, I probably trust him more than almost anybody on the team.
Probably. Now, Quick, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Quick in year 3. How does he factor into that fourth quarter? As you said, he played the most fourth quarter minutes and was very effective. But with Brunson here, that may be limited. But nevertheless, I was very encouraged by Quickly's playmaking ability as the season finished last year. The triple doubles, he was definitely on the boards. Didn't shoot it as well to start the season, but definitely came along. I think Quick year 3, as they say, a game kind of slows down for these guys in year 3 and 4. I think he's going to be very effective. The chemistry with he and Obi is quite evident. And, seeing him and D Rose once again running that second unit, I think that's going to be another strength of this team.
Again, the bench group will be a favorite. I think a home crowd favorite, the bench group. Yeah. And I think your bench can be such a difference when you don't have like the dynamic starting 5. Your bench can make such a difference because if you beat up another team's bench, that keeps you in games.
Right.
Like if you're starters or you're down 4, your bench can get you up 4. And then the starters come back. Like that's important. 2 years ago when they made the playoffs, there was a lot of that going on. Mm-hmm. The bench was a huge part. One of the top scoring benches in the league. On Quickly, we don't talk about it. I think he's a better defender than most people want to give him credit for. I do think that he's got a defensive element to him, long arms, quickness, smart. Yeah. What I love about Quick is you could tell he watches film. You could tell he understands the scouting report. He is smart as hell. He knows players and tendencies, and he pays attention. Another guy that's coachable. You can get on his case. He doesn't take it personal. He just like I always say, I say this to my kids who play sports. It's like, listen to the words, not how I'm saying them. The coach is going to yell, but you can't worry about the yelling part. Listen to what he's saying to you. That's the important part, not how he's saying it, because we're all frustrated. But I think Quick is such a important. He's an intriguing piece this year off the bench because of that versatility. But because what I want to see come together now is what I told you about his defense, which I think is underrated. And then it's the playmaking that has certainly improved over time as he's comfortable. In third year, you're right. Third year, I belong. Right? I'm in the league. I belong. Like, all right, comfortable now. Thibs always talks about how Quickly's the best shooter on the team. He says that regularly. You watch him in practice, he never misses. Every time he shoots it, you expect it's going to go in. That is something that Thibs has said since he's a rookie. And we haven't seen it consistently in game level.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering is this the year we finally see it? Because if we do, that could be a really interesting wrinkle to throw in here.
No question.
He has not shot. I don't believe he shot over 40% yet in his career, and I believe at some point he was under 30 this season. I think he has struggled as a 3-point shooter. He's had moments.
35,
overall,
35 this season, 39 last season.
So he did get, he got to 39.
39. Didn't shoot
he
twos.
Really turned
Didn't
it
shoot
around.
twos so well. But 39 in his
That's
rookie
what,
year.
right. The twos is what hurts.
Yeah, the twos hurt him.
But I'm telling you, if he puts together a 40% season, we know he's going to be a 90-plus free throw line.
Yeah.
And the teardrop starts to drop. Remember that floater,
Right.
that runner that just, that's what I want to see. If he could bring all together now where the shooting that Thibs has talked about in practice starts to show in games. Yeah, another very interesting thing to watch this season. And we mentioned the free throws. They were an awful free throw shooting team last year.
Yeah.
Awful. And that cost them so many times.
Big time.
That can't happen this year either.
Big time. Have to clean that up. RJ session yesterday. First and foremost, I thought he handled the questions surrounding the trade. I thought he handled it very well, as good as he could.
Smart guy.
Do I believe that he stayed away from it? No, I don't. I think they were very much.
Every agent keeps their guy in the loop,
right?
Man.
How could you not be? How could you not be? And I'm sure he and his camp were not happy about it. But nevertheless, I thought he handled it very well. From 14 to 17 to 20 points per game. Efficiency wasn't all that there. He spoke to me. He spoke to the media about what he was working on this offseason, finishing off the dribble, shooting off the dribble, finishing well. Those are the things that, the numbers will show you. The eye test will show you. And he himself and Drew Hanlon have been working on it. What are you expecting from RJ in year 4?
First of all, shout out to you for the Puma event.
Appreciate
How you handled it. Professional. Well done. And that was a really good it was good to see you there. Good to see you in that kind of a place. So I'm happy for you. Congrats on that.
Thanks.
Many more to come. As for RJ, as I said, he and Brunson are like the pilings in a foundation. Like it's just as solid a kid as you can, not just physically, because he's actually pretty strong. But you could just see it in the way he's already mastered the media stuff and handling it. And playing at Duke certainly teaches you a little bit of that too. But he gets it. So the idea that he was in trade rumors, he knows the right thing to say. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
He knows the right thing to say. And the right thing to say is, I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
All that matters is I'm here. Hey, they signed me. They committed to me. Right? Like, it's all the right things to say. I'm committed. I wanted to be here. That's true. He never wanted to leave. He didn't want to go to Utah.
Yeah.
He wanted to be here. And I don't blame him. So that's the part that I think tells you there's a leadership now element to him that I wonder at the age of 22, can he start to emerge as one on a team that really doesn't have a leader? There's no Taj now. There's no Taj Gibbs. Like, who is the leader? Yeah. Who is somebody that's like, this is my team? Because I know Julius Randle was supposed to be that guy, but he's not.
No.
And I don't think I don't think he's comfortable being that.
Right.
I think he means well. He did try, but for some guys, just leave me alone. I gotta focus on me. And I think Randle might be that guy. Like, it's just too much where I got to take care of people. I got to speak. I got to talk. I got to go to this and that. And maybe that's just not really good for him. But Barrett can walk that walk easy. And I wonder if he can start to move into that place where, I'm the face of this franchise. This is my team. I was a number 3 overall pick, damn it. They just gave me, over $100 million. So I'm not going anywhere. And that's an important thing. But you also know he wants to be an all-star. And now that is the next challenge for him. Look at his draft class. Zion still, although Zion looks amazing right now.
He looks great.
So he could have a really big season, and that could be special. Good. He got paid, but he hasn't played a ton. Darius Garland's been phenomenal. Obviously, Ja had the best career so far out of that draft class. But RJ's right there. Number 3 pick, but you could put him within the top 5 players in the draft, and he's still right there in the conversation. But he's going to have to now start making a case as best player on my team all-star. Like, it's
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
And that's what, can he take his game? Can he take his personality? Can he take his leadership and all those things? Can he take that now to the elite level? And that's, that's got to happen. For the Knicks to have a season that a lot of fans want to say is beyond like a 500 team that's just like a play-in team, which is where they're fairly projected right now.
Mm-hmm.
For them to be more than that, something special has to happen, maybe even unexpected. Barrett's the guy that could provide that. He's the guy that could, all right, I'm arrived. I'm here.
Yeah.
And he gives you that all-star performance and the player that is just consistently night in and night out. I'm bringing it every night. And he can be that guy.
Yeah, he can be that guy. I think he wants to be that guy.
He does.
There's no question that he's putting in the work based on what he's saying, based on people you speak to. I speak to guys in this camp. He's like, listen, you don't understand. Like, he's not interested in anything but working, practicing, working on his game, like all that other off the court stuff. He's not into that. He wants to be the best.
They have a team of gym rats.
Yeah,
they do. They have a team of, which brings me back to the Cam Reddish thing. I mean, can some of that rub off on Cam?
Right.
Like, can we make him a gym rat? Because you turn him into a gym rat, something really special could happen.
Yeah.
But that's what I like, the idea of the gym rat mentality. And RJ's got it in him, and obviously Quickly and Obi have it in him. Like, Randall's got it in him too. He's a gym rat too.
Yeah.
But the more people you have like that, it's just natural for more people to sort of like become the same thing. Guys that have sort of might not have been realize, well, everybody else is going to the gym tonight. I probably better get my ass to the gym tonight too.
Yeah.
So those are the things that can help a team that might not be supremely talented, but they could still be collectively a team that wins more than they loses just based off of that.
Yeah, no question about it. And, I'm not sure if he'll ever be just a super efficient scorer. Like, I'm not sure if he's going to have that in his bag.
RJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. But Dwayne Wade wasn't.
Right. And that's and that's my
Donovan
point.
Mitchell's not.
Yeah.
Like, there's guys that can score in this league, that have scored in this league and scored big, and you wouldn't call them efficient, but what you would call them is effective.
That's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to get to, because as you pointed out, a D Wade, a Jimmy Butler, and it's not to compare him to those guys, but they weren't overly efficient, but they were timely scorers. And even in the clutch last year, RJ had some moments, man. Yeah, you want to point to the Celtics game, the Heat game, the 46-point game. How about the Laker game in L.A., 36 points in overtime, hits the big three-point shot to either put it into overtime. I forgot which sequence. Yeah, to tie the game. Yeah. He had some big moments. So I'm wondering if he might not be that super efficient shooter. You only shot 33% effective field goal percentage on pull-up shooting, which is but can he be that guy where in crunch time you give it to him and he either muscles his way to the basket and get an and one or hit a timely shot, knock down a timely shot.
And make those damn free throws, kid.
Make his free throws.
Make your free that's easy money.
Yeah.
He's gonna go to the line. Yeah, he'll get 5 free throw attempts, 6 free throw attempts per game. He could. And that's easy money. That should be easy money for him. And I know that's gotta be a point of emphasis for him coming into the season, because last year he left a lot of loose change on the table.
No question.
And that would, as a scorer, that's gotta kill, that's gotta drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Easy points that you're just leaving there. So, those are areas of concern for him. You're right, the efficiency. But I just look at him as a guy that, as a teenager to now, has kind of figured out the NBA and what he needs and the mistakes he's made along the way, and then understanding, okay, do this, don't do that. Getting his body ready for what he now knows what the league is about. And then walking into this season with the contract, didn't get traded, that sense of, this is my team. It's my time.
Yeah.
And seeing if he can, live up to that. That's going to be very important too.
Yeah.
Not pressuring him to say he's got to, but, it's just, let's start seeing more of it. And I thought we started getting a hint of it last season. He's got to get over, he's not the kid anymore.
Right.
CP, right? He's not, there's vets and I got to be respectful. And I think those days are over. I think it's time that he starts to kind of take charge and understand, like, no, we're not having that here. Like, don't be afraid to say something in the huddle.
Yeah.
Set that example of how this team is supposed to play, what this team's identity is supposed to be. And having Jalen there with him with the same mindset, I think it could empower him even more to emerge as kind of the young leader.
Good points. Good points. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. The annual season preview show, CP the Franchise, Alan Hahn on the ones and twos. We're just going through the program right now. Looks like the Yankees have clinched the AL East. No home run, no 61 by Aaron Judge, but the Yankees have clinched. And they're in Toronto celebrating right now. Shout out to my guy Tom from Huntington, $50 super chat. He says, CP Hahn and Manscaped, it don't get any better than this. Let's go. Salute to everyone in the chat. My prediction, 46 wins. What's your prediction, Solo? 40. Tom's going 46.
46.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be real pest. I'm going to say I'm going to go 41. I'm going to go 500.
Yeah.
And I want to be wrong, but I need a reason, and I won't be able to, I can't. I only can base it off of what I saw last year. So, is Brunson worth 4 wins? What was last year's 37?
37. Yeah, I said 42.
Brunson worth 4 wins, 5 wins. So then that's where it gets you. Because it's the same roster, pretty much.
Yeah. I said 42. That might get us a lot of tomatoes in the chat, but I just keep it real. I go on the more pessimistic side until they show me otherwise.
Prove me wrong. I love being wrong.
Yeah.
I will sit down. I will put on a bib. I will grab my fork and knife. I will eat the crow in front of everybody. I'd be more than happy. I've said this many, many times. Prediction is not what I want to happen. It's what I think will happen.
Exactly. Good point. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Throw your numbers in the chat. What do you think the Knicks win total will be this year? Tom from Huntington is going 46. Solo goes 41. I said 42. Let's see what happens. All right, let's get to the phones, man. People want to get in here. We got to go rapid fire. We got a lot of people on here that want to get their points across. Let's start it off. Ron from Baltimore. Ron, how you feeling?
Alan, how you doing?
Great. Good to hear from you, Ron.
Yeah, man. This is tradition. CP's the best. We don't look at it as pressure. That's how Jalen Brunson said it. When they asked him, how does it feel to be finally the point guard for the Knicks, and is there pressure on you with the money? This is how you know he's a Jason Kidd. He's a Latrell Sprewell confidence. He'll just bring instant. He's got it. I don't look at it as pressure. I don't look at it that way. When I was a baby, I get up each and every morning and I put my pants on and I go to work. I control what I can control. This is hilarious to me. Don't ask, I'm ready to go. So I love this guy. But let me just say this about Julius. You said, Alan, will the real Julius stand up? Okay? And it's not about making or missing shots. My question to you, Alan, is this. He shot 41 from 3 2 years ago. People think it was a fluke. Maybe it was, Alan. But can we get him? Because he looks in incredible shape. You said they're talking to him. Okay, that's great. That's a first step. Communication is key in any relationship. Even we have our bad years in marriages. It happens. It happens, Alan. But before any divorce here, I still think there is something in Julius to get him to dive on the floor, to re-engage defensively, to become that guy where less pressure is on him. But there's something, Julius, do you think Julius can get back to being loved? There's no better story in sports, Alan, than redemption. When you said that they are talking to him, can you just go more? Do you think Julius has it in him to not necessarily be the leader, but be that great teammate and be that guy to galvanate with the buddies to get to shock the world? That's my question to you, Alan. And also, that's all I got.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Well, the answer is, to me, if his shot's fallen, if he's comfortable with his game, then you'll see that guy. You'll see it.
Yeah.
But when shots not falling, when things aren't going his way, he tends to trend negative. That's just something that he's got to fight with in himself, is keep himself from going, into that dark place where you could see it in his face.
Disengaged.
You could just see it. Miserable look on his face. And that's only, he can only answer that. I can't. I just know that 2 years ago when his shot was wet and he was just beaten. I mean, they were playing on one-on-one. He was killing guys one-on-one. And then when they would send the double, a lot of times he'd make the right pass, and the Knicks were making those shots.
Yeah.
It was a half-empty arena. Let's not forget that too. So it's the crucible playing in the Garden when the Garden is packed. He's going to have to face that monster right away. How will these people treat me after last season? And how do I win them over? The only way to do that is hustle.
Yeah. No question. No question about it. Benji from Manhattan. Benji, how you feeling?
Hey, what's up? What's up, CP? What's up, Alan?
How you doing, man?
Quick question.
Yep.
I'm doing great, man. I'm really excited for to have a game next week.
Yeah, me too.
So the question is, I'm kind of alarmed a little bit that we brought Cam back in the same scenario virtually that he was in last season. I mean, how do you see this working out? Because I don't see any scenario, knowing Thibs' 9-10 man rotation. Where does Cam fit in here? He's kind of in the same scenario where he was last year, where he might get a couple of DMPs or only play garbage minutes, and we're going to be left with the same questions. I don't think that's good. I think we definitely should have moved him before the season. That's kind of my thoughts. How do you guys see this netting out?
All right. You're right on all fronts. And here's the problem. How do you move somebody that nobody would take unless you're going to package a first-round pick with him?
Right. I mean, look how long he was on the deadline, even when the Hawks had him on the
That's
on the block.
And that's a reality a lot of fans don't understand. Well, you should have just moved him. You should have given him an opportunity somewhere else. Nobody was knocking on the door. Nobody was ringing the phone wasn't ringing off the hook for Cam Reddish. I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
You heard me say earlier how much I'm rooting for him, and I'd love to see him come into camp and steal a job. Like, I'd love to see it because they need it. But, again, it's easy when we're playing fantasy, basketball. If I was the GM, I would just do this. But in reality, somebody's got to answer the phone, and somebody's got to say, sure, yeah, I'll give you a second-round pick for him. But there's nothing like that. That's not there. So he stays for now.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens. But I'd love to see him come into camp and just start. I want to see him maybe like, you know what? I'm going to come in and I'm going to take somebody's job. Do it. I'd love to see that, because that means that something, a fuse was lit in him that, if you ask anybody that's followed his career since he was in high school, never was lit before.
Never was there.
He got away with a lot because he had a lot of physical tools. So, is he going to be desperate this year? We'll see. But for Thibs, it starts with how much work you put in film, in practice, in extra stuff before and after and all that stuff. You start showing me you care, I'll start giving you an opportunity. Yeah. But you got off on the wrong foot at the beginning, so that worked against him.
Yeah, I think, look, I think Fournier, Grimes have the edge. And I think it's going to take either injury or ineffective. Things can change quickly, as we're looking at in the NBA right now. And I think it'll take either injury, ineffective play. Maybe there's a game or two where they let go of the rope and he's searching for some answers, for some defense, for some energy, and he gives it to him, perks up his ears a little bit. I think it'll take that. But for right now, to me, I think he's on the outside looking in.
Yeah. Right now he is. Yeah, I believe so. But things can change.
Things can change. Chris from Queens. Chris, what's going on?
Going on, Alan, CP. I always look forward to the season preview show. So just rapid fire real quick.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to touch on a little bit of with my frustration a little bit with Thibs' comments or the Fournier comments. I think they led to like the veteran versus young player comments that were the discussion that you guys had today. I think, Alan, you mentioned a great point about seeing the young guys and fans want to see them. But I think why this is different, why it's distinct, this like from Frank or Knox, is that our young players are actually the best players on the team. You mentioned Quickly in the fourth quarter, but the last 2 years, the highest net rating player on the team is Emmanuel Quickly. He's been our best player. He's greatly improved. His effective field goal percentage is in line with most point guards at his position. Obi Toppin, limited playing time, but top 3 in the Knicks in net rating, was awesome as a starter when he got the chance, and his stats were in line with like his per 36 over what you expected if he got the actual chance to play. Mm-hmm. I know you kind of mentioned, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Obi and Randle, maybe. I know they can't start together, but they should be actually getting minutes together. In the limited sample, the data shows that they won their minutes together. It's more of a Thibs issue than anything else, and Grimes was awesome. So I just wanted to know, the strength of the team is the depth, and Thibs doesn't really lean into that with the minutes that he plays as starters. So, Alan, you're around the team. Like, what reason do you have to, like, put me at ease that Will Thibs be more flexible? Will he stagger lineups? No more hockey line shifts? Give younger guys bigger roles? Lean on the strength of the team, which is its depth and young talent. But thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it.
All right. Simply this. There's a lot there. I can just hear it in his voice. It just starts with, it's Thibs and I hate Thibs and everything he does is wrong. And I get it. There's a frustration that I understand. But we forget that RJ Barrett is the youngest player on the team, and he played the most minutes of anybody. The notion that he doesn't play young players is absurd. He does, but it's certain young players.
Certain ones.
Guys that fit a certain way that I want to see you play. And quickly got that very quickly, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Now, RJ obviously had it from day one.
Yeah.
But the thing he said about Fournier was more respectful to Evan Fournier, who, by the way, just came back from Europe, where once again he was a key piece in a French national team. Is one of the best teams in the world, and he's a key piece on it. To have him show up at camp and just be like, yeah, but never mind what you did at Eurobasket, because Grimes had a really good 3 games in Summer League. Like, come on. Like, you can't do that. But the idea, all right. So what he also said was, and it was a well-articulated call, so I'm trying to be respectful. Mm-hmm. He's going to play the players that play the best together. And some nights it's different people. But he has to play the young guys, because your young guys are not young guys anymore. There's no rookie on this team. Trevor Keel's not going to see the light of day.
Yeah.
They didn't make a first-round pick this year. There are no young guys. Oh, by the way, your young guy is Obi Toppin, who's one of your older guys.
Right.
If you think about how actually old he is. Right? Like so they're not young guys anymore. They've got a year under their belt, and some 2. They're going to play. They're going to have to play. But this is a coach that has always trusted veterans.
Yeah.
So he will trend, he will lean, he will default to vets until he has an alternative that he can't deny. Derrick Rose was a child when he got him. Did he not play him? He's a kid, can't play him. No.
Yeah.
He played the hell out of him. In fact, some people argue he played too much.
Yeah.
So it's not about, and that's the part I don't like. There is an argument to be made about Thibs and his rotation, but it's not he won't play the young guys. It's he will play the guys that he trusts the most. That's who he plays. So when he's not playing somebody who's young, it's not that he's not playing him because he's young. He's playing him because he doesn't trust him yet.
Yeah.
We got to get past this young guys thing, because their young guys aren't young guys anymore. They're just part of the rotation. Julius Randle makes a ton of money. He's not going to come off the bench for Obi Toppin. That's not going to happen.
Never going to happen.
He's already been an all-star. It's just not going to happen. So we've got to move on from that. When it's time for Obi Toppin to start, when it's just so obvious that he's way better than Randle, they'll trade Randle first. Like, they're not going to bench Randle for Obi Toppin. That's not how you do things in the NBA. So it might drive you crazy, but that's the reality. So again, I just want to repeat it. It's not about playing young guys. And I'm actually going to say this on MSG when we talk about it. We got to stop calling them the young guys, because they're not young guys. Yeah. They're just the guys now. That's what they are.
Yeah.
There are no young guys on this team. There's younger, but there's no, they're young, so he's not going to play. Everybody's got experience now. Technically, Emmanuel Quickly is a veteran. Technically, he's a veteran.
Yeah.
3rd year service. So that's how I answer that. And I don't mean to sound like I'm frustrated or angry. I'm not angry about it. It's more of I want all Knicks fans who are watching right now, because you see it a lot on social media, and it's always about Thibs doesn't play the young guys. Get that out of your vernacular. Yeah. Because it doesn't exist anymore, because there are no young guys. They're all guys who have been here for at least a year now. And they've all played. And he loves Grimes. He wanted to play Grimes.
Absolutely loves Grimes.
So that part's got to stop. If he's not playing somebody, it's because he doesn't trust him.
Absolutely loves young guys. Grimes, but I think the young guys thing is almost more of an Obi thing than anything else.
Obi's, what is he, 24 years old?
Young in terms of years in the league,
Right.
in terms of the energy that he brings and that dynamic.
I get it. I get it, and I'm with you, but I know how the NBA works. And you don't take somebody like Julius Randle and bench him. That doesn't happen. And you can hate it all you want. It's just, you have to watch Randle and see, is he bought in? Is he going to be part of a starting rotation that's going to be good? That's going to be a difference maker. But then when Obi comes in, is Obi going to light the building up? Because Thibs notices that stuff too. Is Obi going to come in and he's up and down the floor and he's getting easy baskets and whoa, like, yeah, okay. We might have to carve some more minutes for this guy because when he's on the floor, stuff's happening. The positive stuff. And for Obi Toppin, for everybody watching, it's not about his dunks. It's not about him hitting the corner three. Everybody listening, pay attention now when this season begins. For Obi Toppin to get more minutes, rebound.
Yeah.
Rebound and be positionally good defensively.
Defense. Yeah. Yeah.
Positionally good. They're not even asking you to be like a shutdown, like just positionally be in the right places. But rebound. Very important.
Yeah.
Get out and get a rebound, get up the floor, get into the break. Offensive rebounding, that's something, an area of his that he needs to be better at. And if he can add that element to his game, along with, it'd be nice if he can, get a one-on-one move once in a while. But he'll get minutes. He'll play. And that's what's going to be interesting too. All right, wait a minute. How does Randle get to 34 minutes or 36 minutes if Obi is demanding 25 minutes?
Right.
Not 12 minutes. And I have a feeling that's going to be a balance this year as well. I really do. But it's up to Obi to, again, just like I said about Cam and everybody else, you got to demand those minutes. Demand that I'm having such an impact, you got to keep me out here.
It's the only way he's going to get more minutes is if you got to throttle Julius's minutes down a little bit. I mean, you look at his on-off efficiency differential. He was in the 93rd percentile in the league.
I know.
Julius was in the 10s or something like that.
All of the analytics about Obi are mind blowing. They really are, and that's what means. Okay, it's the idea of does more mean the same, or would more those numbers now suddenly start to change? But we got to learn that this year. We've got to learn it.
Got to learn it.
And I don't see Thibs. He's not twisting his mustache. He's not, folding his arms going, he looks great. I'm taking him out. Like what coach is like, well, he can help us win. Yeah, I don't want to play him. Like, no coach does that.
But the thing
what? That guy helps us win. I don't feel like playing.
But the thing is this, like, yes, he does play the young guys. You can go to Quickly's rookie year, he averaged 20 minutes a game. Burks was my guy. People on the show will tell you Burks was my guy. But I could not
I didn't get the Burks
watch Burks play point guard every single night.
Get it. I
couldn't.
That's one I just will never understand.
Yeah.
I will never understand that one. I can't get it. I asked him to explain it, and when he explains it, I'm like,
never got it.
Nope, that doesn't make sense.
You took the guy away from his strength from being a bucket getter. We're going to miss him sorely. He's going to make Detroit a better team. We took the guy away from his strengths. Didn't give Quickly. Yes, he did get some bench minutes. He did play the most fourth quarter, right? Maybe it's not who starts and maybe who finishes. But to me, to see Quickly play more with Julius and RJ as a starter, when you're talking about evaluating your assets,
of course,
to me, that's what I mean by like playing the young guys a little bit more. You had Taj playing more, some more pivotal minutes.
That got people crazy. Hey, let's not forget there's an Isaiah Hartenstein added to this.
I like that pickup.
So, you're talking about another piece that's got to play. Mitchell Robinson, of course, if he's got foul trouble, you've got a guy that's, he's going to give you a different element too.
Yeah.
So, again, depth is going to be the strength of this team. Like it was 2 years ago. Depth is the strength. When you like, oh, what are they? What's good about the Knicks? Depth.
Yeah.
They have that. And they're going to need it.
No question about it. Let's go to Texas. Let's go to K Ball from Texas. K Ball. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Is it K Ball?
K Ball, man. You representing HSR Recordings, man. How y'all doing?
How you doing, bro?
Not much, man. Been Knicks fan since 2011. You know, I was a big Melo fan.
Nice.
Like the coach, I'm gonna stay there. Even though Melo left, I stay there. You know.
All right.
He got 3 points made by New York and everything. Of course, to start off with the main thing happened today for the Fournier and Grimes situation. I'm a big Grimes fan and everything. I think he's a solid starter. Fournier, I think it's all about Fournier and Reddish. You feel me? So I still think we can rebuild because most of our team is young. And Fournier, he nice. I call him, because my homeboy, he a Celtics fan. I call him the Celtic killer because every game, I know he goes off against Boston.
It's true.
He goes off against Boston.
Yeah.
It's true.
But the thing is, I want us to stay young. Cause I think we kind of, remember that year when we were stacked in the power forward position, had about 5 power forwards that year?
Yeah.
I think we kind of stacked them as far as forwards and guards, and stuff. And I think off the bench wise, we automatically go to the backcourt of Quickly and D Rose. That's off the bat. But I think our backup small forward should be out of Evan Fournier and Cam Reddish. And Cam Reddish said he wanted out. But I think he got more potential than Evan Fournier. He defends better.
Okay.
He don't shoot as good, but he can shoot.
Okay.
So I think
right.
Instead of letting – I think we might well just have Fournier. Sad as it sounds, I think we might well just let Fournier go for some draft picks, whatever. All
right.
And my second thing, I want to go the Julius Randle situation. All
right.
I think people say his most improved player year was fluke and everything. I think that he is what he is. We got players now with Brunson that can set him. I think he'll play. You got to set him like a Pascal Siakam. You got to set him up. You don't have to. He can have to play. He can score on his own. But I think we got a situation where, like I said, RJ Barrett should be the number one option.
Yeah. And have guys set up Julius. And appreciate the call. And that's what we were saying earlier.
Yeah. That the number one option thing is a really interesting thing to watch here with the offense.
Yeah.
Because Jalen should have the ball in his hands, and by default that makes him the number one option, right? So how all that works together. But Fournier, you're just not dumping off a guy like that.
Yeah.
That's not happening. Now, anything can happen throughout the season. And Leon Rose told me that the shop is open and they are open for business. And if there's something that makes sense for them to get involved in, they know they have tons of assets, all those draft picks, and they would not be afraid to get involved in talks. So, it's very fluid. This is not a roster that could be it's not going to look the same at the end of the season. And, that's when you start looking around the league and you see what kind of opportunity comes up for you to get a player that might fit you better. Or also it might be a team that needs what you have, and you maybe move somebody that can unlock a spot for someone else that might be just playing so well that it's time to make that change. So, a season always has that, it evolves through and the roster evolves through. So anything can happen on those fronts. There's nothing set in stone. This is not a finals team that, the starting five's been together for, 6 years and they're not going to change. This isn't DJ, Ainge, Bird, McHale, and Parrish. Right? It's going to be a little different.
No question about it. All right, a couple more before we wrap. I got to get to my guy, Tom from Huntington, man. Dropped a 50 bean. He's the Manscaped guy. Tom, let's go.
Gentlemen, fantastic work. Love the show, the best show, obviously.
Number one show for the fans.
CP, you already know. Happy belated, by the way.
Appreciate it.
Alan, big fan. Always have been a big fan of yours. Keep doing the great work that you do. I'm going to keep it rapid fire because, like I say, people say rapid fire, but they lie.
Only you know the rules. Yeah, only you do the rapid fire thing to a T. That's why I go to you.
Come on. Really quick, what Julius has to do for the first home game, grab the mic before the game. Tell everybody stop for a second. Say, listen, I want to apologize for the season I had last year. Take the thumbs down and flip it up and make it a thumbs up and say, listen, I got your back. I want you to have my back. Let's make this happen. He does that. Trust me, they'll be back on his side. Number 2, Cam needs to watch Rocky 3 and get inspired by a little Eye of the Tiger. I don't know what's going on. We trade a guy with low motor for another low motor. I don't want no low motor guys on the team. Get him off the team if that's going to keep going. And number
Is this
3,
Thibs?
Thibodeau, take the beard off. I'm not happy with that. He looks like he's depressed because we didn't get Mitchell. Okay, listen, you guys keep doing the work you're doing. Rapid fire, best show, hands down. We'll talk soon. All right, take care, man.
By the way, could you see that moment though? Like where it's like, there's Julius. He's like, like Knicks fans. I just want to say, let's turn it around, right? Like it'd be hilarious.
Hey,
he just walks out. He walks out. And he's like, "Hey, Knicks fans."
It's like the guy at the Yankee game, right? The thumbs down guy. Turn it around, man. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys.
I mean,
that's what he should say. The crowd would go electric.
I think it'd be absolutely hysterical if he came out and he just walks out and he's got his thumbs up, right? He walks out into the court and he's got his thumbs or he just does this to the crowd all day. This just becomes the thing. Like if he does that and just makes a joke of it,
it'll buy him some time. It'll buy him some time.
It might buy him a little time, but the minute he misses one shot,
he's out of there. Shout out to Tom from Huntington. That might be the call of the night. Shout out to Tom. Jay from Florida. Jay, let's go.
Yo, peace to the room, man. Peace to everybody. CC. Big up, brother. Big things that you're doing, man.
Appreciate it.
Beautiful interview with RJ, man. Alan Hahn, big fan, man.
Appreciate it. Yo, first and foremost, man, how you doing? How you doing down in Tampa, man, with the hurricane and everything?
We got plenty sardines and plenty tuna fish, man.
Let's go. That's a Jamaican for you, man. He's holding it down. Hopefully, they know how to survive. Let's go.
Appreciate it.
Stay safe.
Appreciate it, man. I hope we don't lose power. That's the thing. I got a 7-year-old. You know the CP.
Yeah.
If we lose power, I got to explain to her why we don't have power, why she can't watch cartoons. So
yeah.
That's the only thing. Weather the storm, keep power, we good. But my main question, I'm not Alan Hahn. I'm not a fan of Leon Rose. I'm not a fan of Tom Thibodeau. Here's my issue, Alan Hahn. We're in a situation where these guys behave like it's the 2012 Bulls. They behave like they're a perennial playoff team, a perennial winning team. A 37-win team should be focusing on playing the young guys. Even though they're veterans now, they're getting a little older in the league. You got to figure out what these guys are. If they're not good, reset the rookie contracts, get some more young guys in here that you might like. But we got to figure out how much you're paying Quick, how much you're paying Obi. We have to strategize these things. And if they don't play, we can't see it. We can't continue to behave like a quote-unquote winning team when we're not. We're just not. So this year I want to see these guys play, man. I don't care what the result is. Let's see these guys play. Let's see what they got, and we go from there. I don't want them to invest in Fournier. I get it. Fournier is a grizzled vet, big French player. I understand it. Shout out to Randle, grizzled vets. They did their thing in the NBA. We're not in a situation, in my opinion, to behave like this. Not yet, at least. We're not a winning team. Anyway, peace to y'all, man. Peace to the chat. I'm going.
Hold it down, Jay. Hold it down. Jay's saying we got to scale it back, peel it back a little bit.
You're basically saying burn it down. Like, I mean, you still got to be competitive. I mean, look, once again, you just brought in Brunson. How old is Brunson?
25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that old?
Not at all.
All right. RJ Barrett, how old is he?
22.
Right. Okay. That's not old, right?
Mm-hmm.
How old is Mitchell Robinson?
What is Blockness? 21? 23. There you go.
Okay. Is that old?
Yeah. No, not at all.
So 3/5 of your starting lineup is 25 years or younger, right?
Yeah.
Is that young guys? Okay. Let's go to the bench. You've got Quickly, who's 21 by this point, right?
Yeah.
Obi, who's 24, right? Hartenstein is like, I think 25 or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have obviously D Rose. He's the older guy, 34. But again, I gave you 4 players off the bench who are 25 or younger. So out of a rotation of 10, 30% are considered old guys. What are we doing? Like this is the mentality. I don't understand why fans are acting like this is I get when it was, Alec Burks, and I understand that. I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say better play the young guys, who the hell else are you going to play, CP? Who's he playing? They're all young. Like, they're all guys that are 25 years or younger. They gotta play. There's nothing else on the roster that Taj Gibson's not here anymore to do like, you know what? I understand fans got frustrated. I love Taj. So when he played, I was happy. But I get what fans, you know, you want to see Jericho Sims. Okay, great. There isn't any other option. This is not a team that's got a bunch of vets on. This isn't that group anymore. This is a group that is 70% of this rotation, more than likely, this rotation is 25 and younger. Isn't that what you want?
I think it's two things. I'm telling you, it's the Obi Julius thing.
That's all this is, then, right?
It's big.
This is Obi Julius.
It's a big deal.
And it's Cam Evan.
Yeah, that's big.
What it is.
That's big
right?
too. But then I also think it's the fear of no man's land. It's the fear of being not
mediocre?
good enough to compete,
the treadmill,
but not bad enough to get a premium stud star bone. I'm not talking about a guy that we got to figure it out 5 years from now what he looks like. I'm talking about a guy from day one. You know,
Mitchell Robinson.
We've got a dog.
Donovan Mitchell. You mean?
Yeah.
He swung and missed.
Right.
And nobody was willing to give up what they wanted. What the Jazz were demanding, everybody to a man said to me, I'm not giving that up.
Yeah.
And the Knicks said it too. You can't get players and the picks. It's one or the other. We're not giving you all these picks and our best young player. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And the Jazz said, fine. We'd rather take the deal in Cleveland instead. And so you didn't get him.
Yeah.
Simple as that. So you didn't get him, but you live to fight another day. But when you say that fear of being in that treadmill of mediocrity, you're on it.
They're on it.
You're on it. You're on it until you find that guy that takes you to that next level that you like, and you didn't know he could be that.
Right.
And that's when you can then take that step, but you can't. So right now, what you want to do is just be as competitive as you can and still try to develop some young players. But the reality of some of your young guys is that they aren't, and it's going to sound terrible for me to say it. I say it from a sports perspective. They're not special.
Yeah.
Luka is
it all the time.
special.
They're not good enough, man.
Right? Luka's special.
Yeah.
Trae Young is special. Hate him or not, he's special. Just changes your franchise overnight. Donovan, when he showed up in Utah, they didn't know he was going to be that special right out of the gate. He's just like, whoa, this guy's different. Like that changes your franchise.
Yeah.
And the Knicks don't have that. Jason Tatum, you forget how bad that Celtics team got. Brad Stevens' first year, they were terrible.
Yeah.
But Jason Tatum was special. And it just took a minute. And no, he's different, right? Like he's special. So that's why I asked going into the season, can RJ Barrett be that special that takes a team that not a lot of expectations, kind of mediocre, to by December, like, whoa, Barrett, that kid, there's a reason why he was the best player in his draft class when he was coming out of high school.
Yeah.
But now you see it. So that's the stuff that gets you out of mediocrity. That's what they've got to find. That special player that takes a decent roster that could be like, middle of the road and now becomes more of a upper echelon team. And they don't have that player. They tried to get him. They couldn't. And now they'll wait and see what other player they can get in the meantime. But they don't have it on their roster. And you can love all these players all you want. Unless RJ can take that step to become special,
right?
I don't know if they have anybody else on the team with this special potential, right? Do you understand? Does that make any sense, or am I just rambling?
1,000. I say it on the show all the time. I get tomatoes. The fans don't like to hear that, man.
Nobody wants to hear it, but it's just reality.
That's just the reality of it. That's just the reality of it. So, but this is why this is the hardest league in sports to me to build a contender, because you mentioned teams like the Hawks, you mentioned a team like Utah, and all those special players, and it's still not enough. Now look at where the Hawks.
It's amazing, right? Look at the Hawks.
Yeah.
Like the Hawks are good.
Right.
They're back where they were.
Right.
They're just good. They're like that group is good.
Yeah.
Are they going to win a championship? No.
No.
But they're good.
No.
They'll be good. I mean, again, like, do you want to be there too? Because good is also a dangerous place to be.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid to fall out of good and go to mediocre.
Right.
At least we're good.
It's tricky, man.
Competitive. It's crazy, but that's like Joel Embiid, the Sixers. It took them forever to find the one special player. They finally got him, and they're still waiting.
Still waiting.
Now they got Embiid. I mean, they get Harden.
Yeah.
Maybe Harden, takes them over the top and finally gets it done. But you see how it is. Like, you need that special player.
Yeah.
And they're hard to find.
Hard to find, man. Two more CP Hahn Solo on the ones and twos. The annual season preview show, man. It's been a great show. Let's go. Two quick ones. Rapid fire. Triple M. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, CP Allen, man? My favorite show. My favorite guest, matter of fact.
No question.
No disrespect to the other guests.
No, disrespect.
This question, real. I listened to the last two shows for the last 2 years. And you guys, 2 years ago, it was like, whoa, this might be a long season. Knicks go win 41 games. Last year, everybody was hyped, and the Knicks, it was a disaster of a season. So this year, you guys are giving mediocre win total. So you're not giving the Knicks anywhere to go. It's like they listen to this, and then they want to prove you guys wrong. My rapid fire take real quick. Alan, you mentioned in the beginning of the show that quickly he's the number one fourth quarter guy that the Knicks, minutes-wise, that the Knicks the last few years. We got Brunson. He's a closer now. You got D. Rose. He's a vet. We got Grime. I wanted to ask you, what would be your ideal closing situation? I know games ebb and flow, but just all things considered, what would be that closing lineup for you? I mean, you got Mitch. He's been fouling, and sometimes Taj Gibson was actually closing the games last year. So yeah. I'm interested to hear your five. And that's what it is, man. Shout out to CP, shout out to Alan Hahn, and shout out to the game.
Appreciate it, Triple M in the building.
It's funny. I always say to play if I'm motivating players with my takes. I said one year I was covering hockey, and I'll tell you what, I'll write nothing but positive things about you, and when you win the cup, my name gets to go on it too. Right? Because if I'm contributing that much to your success. Right? Like, make sure I get a ring.
Yeah.
If all I have to do is just fill you with fluff all year. But the closing lineup is I do think it's situational, right? Yeah. Who you're playing, because there are some games that you want to finish with Mitch out there because of his ability to offensive rebound, his ability to block shots, finish around the rim. Like, that's valuable. But the reason why Taj would be in games is, number one, he always knew where to be defensively. He was never out of position. He was excellent in pick and roll defense, and he could sit in the corner, and you had to respect his ability to shoot the corner three.
Yeah.
So that's where Hartenstein becomes a very interesting piece here, because he's actually a very good playmaker. He's smart.
Good pass.
Better than average rebounder, and he can knock down that corner three on a whim here and there. So, or they could go small, and that's where everybody can say, yeah, Obi Toppin and Randle play together.
Obi Randle.
If Obi rebounds, yes.
Yeah.
Right? If Obi rebounds, yes. So there's options there that I think you'll see Thibs tinker with. In the beginning of the season, it's always like, all right, who's rolling? Let me go with
90 seconds.
So, but the guard position, is it Brunson and D. Rose? Is it Brunson and Quickly? Brunson's got to be out there.
Yeah.
Got to be out there.
Automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brunson's going to be out there automatically. Obviously, it's going to be RJ. You got to figure Julius is going to be there. My closers, I'm putting Grimes out there.
Really? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Who's sitting? Yeah. Who's sitting?
Fournier.
Yeah.
Fournier's sitting down. We need stops. We're gonna need stops in crunch time.
And you got to switch. Everything switches at that point, and you just don't want Evan on the the dynamic point guard who's just going to dribble circles.
I need tenacity. I can't afford to have you falling asleep and you guys snatches an offensive rebound. You're not hustling. Sometimes Fournier does that. You know what I mean? Again, no offense to him, but I need the antennas up in crunch time. So I need Grimes out there. Brunson, RJ. I'm going Obi Julius, man.
Obi Julius.
It's time. It's now or never. I gotta see it. And I'm living and dying with it.
Obi, if you're watching, please, if you do anything, just rebound the basketball.
Just get on the boards.
Minutes. You'll get minutes. Yeah. Just rebound the basketball.
Just get on the boards.
You don't have to leak out. You don't have to always leak out.
Yeah.
Because people want to see you play, man. And that's forget the corner three. You'll knock those down. Like, I don't even care about those corner threes. Like, he'll knock them down. But when he runs the floor, there's something special. Like, that element, right? That jump off the page thing. He's got all that. But it's the awareness of what I need to do right now and it's a game, it's time score situation, right? And so there's that instinct of shot goes up, let me take off, and if we get the rebound, I can get an easy two. But time score situation sometimes means shot goes up, I'm going to use my athleticism to get the rebound. So now we have possession, right? Because the defensive stop isn't a stop until you get the rebound. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I think his awareness
It's key.
That needs to come in and become sort of his instinct, rather than that instinct that he developed at Dayton, which was shot goes up, I'm going.
Cherry pick, yeah.
But I want him to play just as much as anybody else, because I love watching. He's fun to watch, and he's so easy to root for. One of the best kids you'll ever talk to. I love his family. Like, there's so much about him that makes you just say, I want you to be a Knick for the next 10 years and have great success, because he's so likable.
Yeah. No question about it. All right, Ari, close us off, man. What do you want to complain about tonight? Go ahead.
Yo, you guys hear me all right?
Loud and clear.
First of all, Hahn Solo, you're in my Mount Rushmore with CP, JD, and Jay from Florida. So definitely a big fan. The reason why the Hawks are just good and not great is because of, fiscal irresponsibility. They have $75 million tied into John Collins, Clint Capella, and Bogdan Bogdanovic, and that's just not going to get it done. But I know you said Leon Rose said the shop is open. I just want to know if that's coming from Leon or Gerson Rosas. I don't know who's running the show these days, Han. I don't know what's going on. I'm hearing mixed things. I'm a little confused. What I want to complain about today, CP, is not about playing the young guys. It's about playing for optics, okay? Optics is the reason why the Knicks have not been good for the past 20 years. The reason why RJ Barrett plays and no other young guy plays is because he was the third pick. Derrick Rose was the first pick in Chicago. I guarantee you, if Quentin Grimes or Emmanuel Quickley were a top 10 pick, they'd be playing more, all right? This is the difference between a Knicks organization and the Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra benched Duncan Robinson making $90 million a year off a terrible contract for undrafted Max Strus because they care about winning games. They don't care about optics, okay? They don't care about contracts. They don't care about things like that. I heard you say, Han, that Thibs is going to play the people that earn it the most and that hustle and that put in effort. But I saw Julius Randle walk up the floor every single game last year, smack laptops, and get upset when his team won. Meanwhile, I see Emmanuel Quickley diving on the floor for every loose ball, playing his heart out, and he doesn't get minutes because Alec Burks needs to play more minutes than Nikola Jokic, even though the Knicks are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, right? So I don't think it's a play the young guys per se, but I just want it to be a meritocracy, Han. I just want it to be the people that give you the best chance to win, you play them. You don't play someone because they get a good contract, they're getting paid a lot of money, or because they're in their 10th season or whatever, right? It's those type of things that I think set a bad precedent. And I just want to understand, like, why the Knicks are so optics-oriented always, man. Why is it always optics? Why can't we just get the best players to play, and that's it? Obi Toppin makes one turnover, he gets pulled. Julius Randle spin move turnover 3 times in a row, he gets to play 40 minutes a game. It's not fair, it's not right, and it's wrong, all right? It's wrong. So I don't want to know why it's always about optics and not about results. Thank you for taking my call.
Ari going 10 toes down. Rate that call in the chat, man. 1 to 5. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. Throw some fire emojis in there. Let me know what you guys think about Ari's call. Ari from Manhattan going in.
I appreciate Ari, but that was a terrible call on so many levels. And I'm gonna say here's the problem. And I say this a lot. Sometimes you're just reading the wrong stuff, and there are fans who want to only believe the bad things that are said about their team because they just know, well, that's why we suck, because here's more negative information that isn't quite accurate, right? Leon Rose is the president of the organization. He's in charge. He's the final say guy. Gerson Rosas is a consultant in the front office. And what you read was that Gerson was the point man in the negotiations with the Jazz. That's fairly accurate because, just so everybody knows, Danny Ainge was not on any of the calls.
Wasn't on it, yeah.
So this whole idea, though, Danny wants this and Danny Ainge was not involved like that. Danny Ainge was like, on the the seventh tee, and he check his phone, and it's like got his update on where the talks are today. I mean, that's reality. So Leon and Danny talked in Vegas during the summer league, and that's then you always do that, pass it on to your lieutenants. I mean, that's reality. So this thing about I don't know who's in charge because Gersa, come on, like you're being dramatic. So just walk that one away, stuff it, put it in an envelope, mail it to nowhere. Okay, don't ever open that envelope again.
And the people I spoke to on that topic said that wasn't like an odd thing. It
that's how you do it.
Thing. Yeah,
the lieutenants always do the talking. All right, just anyways. But look, it makes for good fodder, and then fans get all worked up.
Yeah,
it's the way it is. Now, this again, it's not an optics thing; it's an NBA thing. It's just how it works. You have a guy who's a vet, who was an all-star the year before. It's not about the money as it is about his status, who he is. And I agree with you. There were times where I was like, come on, Thibs, sit the guy. Like, he's a mess. Take him out. But when you're a coach, you can lose a room real fast if you lose a vet. That happens. It's a reality. So it's easy for fans to say, meritocracy. Play only the guys that play hard. That's easy to say, but it doesn't work because some of the guys that play hard aren't that good. So they have to play hard. And I'm going to play a guy that's not that good, and we're going to be down by 30, and then I'm going to turn to the vet and be like, hey, can you save my ass, please? Like, guys, come on. It's not as easy as you think it is. Sometimes you've got to ride with your vet, and you've got to just trust him. And I mean, when I say a vet, I'm talking about an established vet. And Randle is an established vet. That's a fair thing to say. Whether you liked what you saw last year, and I didn't like any of it. But it's just reality. Like, you got to play him. You got to keep playing him, and you got to hope he gets it right. You got to have his back. You got to just try to work him through this. But behind the scenes, trust me, behind the scenes, you can get in his ass about things. You absolutely can. But the world doesn't need to know about it. Because you can have him in, they tell you what, meet me at 8 a.m. for film, just me and you. And you could tear him up. But the world doesn't need to know about it because as a veteran, you respect him enough to, in the post game, say, we trust him, we'll stick with him and all that stuff. And then tomorrow morning when nobody's around, show him everything he did wrong and tell him we're not tolerating this. Like that's what you do with veterans because that's how you develop that respect and mutual respect. And the last thing you want around the league is to see like, oh, this is how they treat people. Can't have that, right? It's not optics. And don't say that RJ only played because he was the number 3 pick. That's insane. RJ played because he was good.
Cream rises to the top, man.
He's good. That's why he played. Yeah. He's good. Because why did Kevin Knox, who was a top 10 pick, not play? Why didn't he play?
Yeah.
Well, he's top 10 pick. Optics. Got to play him. No, even Fizdale was like, I can't play this guy.
Yeah.
Like the first year they played the crap out of him because you could tell they weren't trying to win. Like you saw what was happening at the end. They were just giving him minutes and all that stuff. But then the following year when it was like, all right, we actually got to play, it was pretty quick how fast he fell out of favor. No optics there. It's just that's when you just realize guys will play themselves into a lineup. They'll play their way out. But it's not about optics. Quickly played a lot. Thibs loved him. Thibs loves Grimes. In fact, you said it. When Grimes got his chance, he started playing. Then he got hurt. It was unfortunate because he was playing so well. He was there. He had won the job. He got the job, and he was playing. Then he got hurt. Sucks, but it's true. So I hate the fact that I have to defend this all the time. Now, I'm with you on the Burks thing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Burks thing, I don't get. I'll never get it. But that's the only thing I don't get. All the rest of it, I was watching this and from afar. I was always like, yeah, I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. So I know what's going to happen now, by the way, CP. There'll be clips of this.
Yeah.
Hahn goes off defending Thibs. Like, I know it's going to happen. I don't care because Tom Thibodeau is a 2-time coach of the year. He's one of the most respected coaches around the NBA. And I will trust other coaches like Greg Popovich who go, hey, one thing you guys got right was your head coach. Like, I'll trust guys who say things like that to me. So I'll believe, like, all right, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. There are some things that I can't understand. He's a bit stubborn, but that's every coach is like that. So I don't care if it looks like I'm defending the guy and all that other stuff and trying to make excuses. I'm not making excuses. I'm telling you what I know, what I've observed, what I've been told. Like, I'm not just sitting in my basement, literally, coming up with off the top of my head what I think's happening. I'm telling you what I know is happening when it comes to rotations and decisions and all that stuff. But we've got to get away from the young guys. Because as I just pointed out a few minutes ago, 70% of your rotation is quote unquote young guys. They're going to play. But Julius Randle's an all-star. That's a fact. You got to give him a chance to give you a redemption year to make up for whatever happened last year. And we'll find out, was last year him or was 2 years ago him? Which guy is it? We'll know by Christmas. And if by Christmas it's last year's guy back again, trust me, he will not have a very long runway at that point. That's how I feel. Yeah. I haven't been told that, but that's my opinion, is he will reach that point with the franchise that, okay, this ain't working. This might not be the best market for you. It's time to move on. But you got to give him that chance first.
You know what, Solo, man? This is where I rock with you, man. Because you're a Thibs apologist like me. And there's tomatoes flying in the chat right now. And you know what? It feels good. It feels good to not be alone.
Bring them.
Yeah.
Bring them.
You know, these people turned on me last year midway through when I was defending the coach a little bit from the onslaught. So it's good to be in the trenches with you tonight on this season preview show. Speaking my language. They said I was part of the CAA mafia with all these guys. Rosas and Leon Rose and all these guys worldwide.
See, some people live for the controversy. They live for it. Oh, this is a conspiracy. They live for it. I told you. They want to read only negative things because they want to believe the negative things. Yeah. That's why. Now I know why. They want to believe it. Go ahead and believe it then. Go ahead and believe it. You're right. You should be coaching the team. You should be the GM. I don't know what they're thinking. Come on.
Oh, man. Great show, man. Absolutely great show. Always look forward to doing these on an annual basis, man. And this one was another stellar show. These shows do over 100,000 views on YouTube every single year. It's a hit. It's a blockbuster, man.
Love it. I'm gonna hear about it. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hear about it though. But it's all good. I look forward to it because it's fun. It's a way to kind of let loose. It warms me up because the first preseason game. It's my first bout with Wally Zerbiak. So I got to be ready. Yeah, so this kind of is like a warm. It's like it's like a sparring session.
Yeah.
It gets me kind of ready to face the music when, of course, I got to deal with him.
No doubt, man. Shout out to Wally and Pito. And, best of luck this season, man. Continue great work on ESPN, MSG Networks, everything you do, man. The Emmys are still looking shiny and bright back there, man. I'm still working on number one. I'm on my way. And that's the situation right now, man.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You're definitely on your way. I'm looking forward to it more this year. And I just want that unexpected to happen this year. One unexpected thing to happen this year that could just kind of turn things a little bit, but it's not all for naught. Like it's just a process. I hate saying process. I'm trying to think of a different word, but you know what it is. It's just the steps along the way, and consistency is such an important part of this thing. To rip it up, start all over. You never ever you never get any roots.
You gotta say, foundation.
Jalen and RJ can give you those roots right now, and you just kind of build from here. So let's go. You got me fired up now. You got me ready for this.
Let's go, man.
This conversation was very therapeutic. It was cathartic.
Absolutely, man. Alan, thanks again, and we'll chop it up soon, man.
You got it. My pleasure.
That was Alan Hahn. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys, man. What a show. Great show, man. CP the franchise, Alan Hahn on the ones and twos. Great call, Ari. Great rebuttal by Hahn. I thought that was great. That's what this channel is all about, man. Number one show for the fans, by the fans. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Let me shout out some of the super chats that came in. Jay Boogie, $20 super chat says, first day of practice, I want to see shirts and skins. If you're a starter, you need to let the bench players know you're not taking my spot. And if you're a bench player, you need to be trying to take a starter spot season on. So Jay Boogie says we got to go back to the old school, man. I agree with him. I definitely agree with him. Salute to Jay Boogie on that. Great show, man. Salute to all the mods as well. Salute to the Rhyme Animal Chuck D. Always holding us down. Let me just get my extended screen here. I can't even find it. All right, never mind that. Cactus Shack says, what do you guys think about Obi saying during the content interview that he's been practicing with Coach Thibs in the offseason? Putting in work. You should be. Tony Banks, $20 super chat says, love what Hahn is bringing here. Shout out John Houston. Keep up the good work. Anthony D. He says, how hard is it to not choke out Leon? To Allen. Jeremy Maynard says, another dope show. Excited for the season. We will be better than expected if the youngins get minutes. Knicks fan Brazil says, salute from Brazil. Allen is a great person. He knows that I admire him a lot. Congrats, CP the franchise. He said franchise. M. Rivera 4396 is Hahn Solo, Strong Island's finest. Brentwood aristocrat. Rhyme Animal Chuck D says, we're going to surprise the league. Chemistry and defense, and now ball handling. $50 super chat, $100 on the night. Salute to Chuck. Definitely appreciate it. Haiku Homie says, big ups to RJ KFTV love. Gonna get them kicks. Okay. All right, there it is, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Couple other quick ones. Remember, manscaped.com, promo code KFTV, man. Support us, support our sponsors. You get 20% off plus free shipping. Go get your snaps before the season started, man. We had a couple new orders today. We got some shipments coming out. We had a little bit of a back order. The shipments are getting cleared up. Shipments will be out tomorrow. So go get your snaps. We got the navy blue. We have the royal blue. The blacks are on the way. The black snapbacks are on the way. New era branded. You know how we do. We stepped up on the quality. Remember that the show's available in audio podcast format. If you missed it, no reason to miss it, man. Catch it tomorrow morning when you're on the way to work. Podcast format, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. You name it, we got it. We're everywhere, man. Number one show for the fans by the fans. We have 5 tickets left to the home opener fan event, Knicks versus Pistons. 5 tickets left. If you were planning to go, some people DM me like, yo, can we still get tickets? You can, but they're flying off the shelf. We got 5 left. We sold 100. We got 100 in all. 5 left. Go to theomnifan.com and go get your ticket. Do not play around and delay, because I can't guarantee you they'll be there. Lastly, for those SiriusXM people, on SiriusXM people, I'll be on this Saturday morning with Sam Mitchell, former NBA Coach of the Year, Sam Mitchell, and CP the franchise on the 1s and 2s Saturday morning, 7 to 10. We'll be talking about the latest around NBA training camps and media day as well, all the latest storylines. So make sure you check it out. Just call in, support the kid. And that's it, man. I'm out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm always looking forward to this one. CP Solo tore it down once again. See you later. Peace.